a three-game sweep. Good morning and welcome to Ben and Woods on a Monday. I am Ben Higgins. There is no person sitting in the chair to my right this morning. That is not unexpected. We knew this. Stephen Woods is headed off to Hawaii for his family vacation. He will be joining us from the islands the rest of this week. He brought the equipment, got him with him. They're heading to the airport this morning. But we are going to do the Monday program here without Woodsy. But I do have our executive producer, Paul Reindl. Just means the two of us have to work a little bit harder this morning. Paulie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty funny. As we're starting the show, we're looking up at our television screens, and even
literally about 10 seconds before we turned on our microphones.
Yeah, even the local news weather report is chronicling the incoming hurricane headed toward Hawaii at this moment. And I saw Woods sending the tweet. No one's ever going to feel sorry for anybody going on a 10-day Hawaiian vacation. Even if they're working during the vacation, even if they're going with two small children, you're still not going to feel sorry for them. But Woods posted the 10-day forecast. There is not one sun icon, not even a partial sun icon on any one of the days. Every single day has about a 50% chance of rain and nothing but the cloud icons all the way through his trip.
Yeah.
With percentages
of
rain.
Literally no sunshine emoji anywhere.
I think that's not uncommon for Hawaii. You probably will still get plenty of nice weather while he's there, which is why I'm not going to worry about him too much, but it does look like
I talked to him this weekend. He said it's very intermittent a lot of times where like it'll just dump for an hour or two and then it'll be nice and sunny for an hour or two and you can go run around and get things done.
And I will say the high temperature does not hit anything more than 79 while he's there, and I think anybody who's been in San Diego for the last few days can appreciate getting out of our heat and humidity. Even if you're going to a humid tropical island, anything under 80 right now would be a welcome change because it has been, I don't know about you, Paulie, but I feel like it's been about as brutal as we will get.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear you say that because it makes me feel less crazy. Because I'm like you say, you're the AC monitor at your house. I'm probably the AC monitor at our house, and we're trying to, be smart about it. We'll try to, utilize AC on off-peak hours and try to cool the house down before it gets too bad. And I go, babe, I think we just need to run this AC like all day. It's so disgusting outside and inside.
It's so hard to get cool, too. I think it's because of the humidity. But
it's just been brutal.
Normally, with the dry heat, it's not that hard to cut through with just a little AC. Even fans generally do the trick here in San Diego.
It's just blowing around this like hot, muggy air.
It's just not moving. It's been pretty bad. I know in our deserts, like 119 over the weekend, just kind of gross if you're in San Diego.
It was just funny, though. Right before the show started, we looked up and they had like the map of San Diego with, different temperatures around the county. And then right after that, they cut to the Pacific on the map and just a tropical storm barreling right towards Woodsy. And I go, hey, Benny, look, that's right where he's going right now. How about that?
How was your weekend, Paulie?
Weekend was good. Quiet, fairly low key. Just chilled, hung out with the wife. Essentially. But no, we had a great weekend, got some errands done on Saturday, and that included me going around and doing a little bit of a solo retail hunt for some baseball cards. A couple of sets that I've been trying to find in stores.
What does that entail? Like,
it just
how do you find baseball cards?
They get
stores?
Restocked at Target, Best Buy, whatever.
So the big box. You got to hit them before everyone realizes they
sell out very fast.
They sell out fast.
They have like limits of one.
And
or
how do you
two
find
per
out
person.
like
you have no idea
when these drops are coming? You don't know. You just.
I mean, I guess you could ask.
You kind of
do
tours of different stores and try to figure out like, oh, did you get some baseball cards today? Did you get some baseball cards today?
I mean, like I drove on Saturday morning. I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. They had some baseball cards. It worked out very well. Anyways, my point is they also had some WNBA cards, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to get some WNBA cards for my wife because I think she'd be excited for those, and she was. In fact, she's so excited that she is also now hooked on trading cards, and I felt extremely seen as the giant nerd of baseball cards that I have become, along with Woodsy over the last, 7 or 8 months. I felt seen because she goes, That was fun. She pulled like a $30 Paige Becker's rookie card that was really cool, and she goes, I'm in. And on Sunday morning, we were looking at each other kind of about 10 o'clock, and she goes, you want to go drive around and try to find some more cards? I said, hell yeah.
Isn't that one of the eternal relationship questions? That if you've got a significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, do you or don't you want them into your hobby? Like, isn't it awesome if you can share that with them and they're passionate about it as well? But at the same time, I think there are people who are like, I have a great relationship, but I also need to have my own thing, and I don't necessarily need them involved in everything that I do. And I think people feel differently about that question.
I think we have a lot of our own things that we do.
She doesn't play basketball with you on Tuesday nights.
Like if she was like, hey, I think I want to start playing basketball. Do you want to do like a Tuesday night co-ed league? And I'll be like, can it be any other day? Like Tuesday's kind of my night, whatever. She's gotten into gardening recently as kind of a new hobby, and that's all her. She takes care of all the plants in the house. They look amazing, but I let her do that. This one was fun because it was something that we were able to like bond over a little bit, and she was learning more about it, and by that I was learning some more about some of the stuff that I didn't know, and we had a really fun time. It was a lot of fun.
I assume everyone's trying to find like Caitlin Clark rookie cards now, and how valuable those are going to be down the line. So okay, well,
yeah, no, she had fun, and so yeah, it was a good weekend though. Nothing too crazy. Really just kind of staying low key in the house, and like you said earlier, trying to avoid this humidity.
I had a fun weekend. Did start with some errands as well. After the show on Friday, I had to take my car in, drop it off to get serviced over the weekend, which is great. They give me a loaner car until it's ready, which is fantastic, and I think I probably have to go pick it up today. But I don't know if they do this at where you get your vehicle serviced, but where I took my car, they always do a video inspection. So, like later in the day,
I've gotten that from the dealership when I've taken it there for some maintenance.
Yeah. So, I go to a dealership for my maintenance, and later in the day, I get a text. And it's like, okay, here's your video. Here's Victor, mechanic Victor, with your video inspection, and he goes through. All right, inspected. Under the hood here, there's a slight oil leak here that you might want to take care of, and all the recommendations and services that you should be getting for your vehicle. So Victor goes through. It's like a 2-minute video as he's car from the back to the front and underneath everything that's going on. And at the end, he just goes, "Go Padres! Shout out SD!" And I go, "Oh, that's funny," because Victor is a tier 1 and must have known that was my car that he was servicing.
I mean, we don't know that. Like,
I do
maybe Victor just says that on every
video,
every little recap video is like, "Shout out SD."
You know what, Victor? You should now do that on no matter whose car you're inspecting. It should always end with "Go Padres! Shout out SD." But I got a real laugh out of that, Victor. So I appreciate that, and I feel safe that my car is in good hands, that a tier 1 was the one that was inspecting it under the hood, making sure that I'll be safe on the roadways when I get it back. So that was pretty cool. And then yesterday and Saturday had my big 2-day Goat Hill Herdsman tournament with my buddy Scott. It's like 5 9-hole matches. So we played 27 holes on Saturday.
5 9 holes. So, okay. Over the whole weekend?
Over the whole weekend. So Saturday we played 3 9-hole matches, so 27 holes, so like a round and a half. And then yesterday we played the final 2 matches in the morning.
You take like breaks in between?
Yeah, they have lunch in between. Yesterday they had Kraft Coast tacos, which were amazing. On Saturday they made burgers, grilled them up.
Essentially, like Saturday was like 3 mini tournaments, kind of back to back to back.
You play each of the teams in your flight. It's like 6 different teams and their standings, and then
you rotate
if you win,
each round.
Then you go on to the finals on Sunday afternoon.
Nice.
Had a lot of fun. We did not quite make it. We missed by 1 point over 45 holes, making it to the finals. So you didn't play badly. You didn't play great, but you just think about going back to every single mistake you made over 45 holes and go, if I had just done that one shot differently, like we could have had a chance to win the whole tournament. So that's a little frustrating if you're a golfer. And
did you regret not buying or selling at the deadline from Saturday into Sunday?
Kind of like that, exactly. So, I mean, we'll talk about the Padres, but good weekend. I mean, if you're a Padres fan, you should never be unhappy that they win games. That's the point of being a baseball fan.
Right.
I mean, the biggest, we want long-term success. We want our front offices to make good, smart decisions, even if we don't always know what those are. But really, ultimately, all we're doing is cheering for them to win as many games as possible.
Just
now,
break it down so simple. Just if you have a baseball game today, try to win it.
You try to win it. You want to win it. And the Padres won 3 games over the weekend against the Miami Marlins. Nobody should be unhappy about that. But I have seen, I think, more consternation and a divided fan base, more than ever before for the San Diego Padres. I look at social media, and half of the comments, people are excited and saying, hey, this team is showing me something. They need to go for it, get some pitching, hope that Joe and Nick Pivetta come back and you've got a chance to make a run. The other half are like panicking, like, no. This is not a team that you want to be putting any more resources toward. The smart thing is to sell, trade off at least the free agents to be, like Adrian Morejon and maybe even Mason Miller. Our friend Ryan Phillips in Sports Illustrated wrote a big piece about why the Padres absolutely have to trade Mason Miller this weekend. I don't know that 3 games should change anything at all.
3 games against the worst team in baseball
that has
right
lost
now.
12 games in a row. I mean,
there
if
was
you,
a
if
part
you thought
of me
that on Friday, I don't know that you should have completely changed your mind by Sunday.
I know. There was a part of me, of course, there's no scenario in which I'm mad when the Padres win, but there was a little bit of sarcastic frustration, I guess, in that you're just going of course this is happening. We were already kind of split and trying to figure out what to do, and then you go and take care of business against the team that you should, and then I look ahead at the next couple of series that you have heading into the trade deadline, and it's against 2 more horrible teams, which is in theory a good thing, chance to win some ball games, but it's not much of a litmus test for this team heading into the most crucial week of the series or the season.
It's not. It absolutely isn't, but at the same time, every game is worth the same. And, if you won these non-litmus test games, more of them earlier in the season, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now. It'd be pretty simple that the Padres are in a decent position and need to be going for it. If they just won 4 or 5 more of them in the first 105 games, it would be fairly obvious what they should do, but they are now sitting, as we predicted 10 days ago, honestly. They're still sitting in that no man's land of what to do and what not to do. They're too close to really give up, but there's a lot ahead of them that really makes it, you don't feel good about investing a lot into this team. We had A.J. Preller on Friday, got the indication that he wasn't planning on trading Ethan Salas. He said to us that, he plans for Ethan Salas to be a part of the future of this team, this organization, not just as a trade chip going forward. Doesn't mean that he's not going to trade other players and still go for it. We'll talk about it all and maybe even take some phone calls later today since Woods isn't here. And we have such a divided fan base right now about what they think the Padres should do. Will it matter what they do in the next 6 games? If they go 4-2, is that totally different than 3-3 in your mind over the next 6 games? If they go 5-1, is that different than 4-2?
But what happens if the Diamondbacks also go 5-1?
That's a great point. And then starting a week from today is the trade deadline next Monday. And then they've got 4 games against the Diamondbacks, who are currently in the wild card spot, but just 2 games ahead of the Padres.
How different would it make it if you swapped the Giants with the Diamondbacks series and you had 4 against the Diamondbacks heading into the deadline?
Totally different, because then you'd know if you sweep the Diamondbacks, if you got to play them this week and you swept them, it'd be a pretty easy call at the trade deadline. Similarly, if you played them this week and they swept you and you were 6 back, it would be a super easy call. Yeah, you got to sell some pieces. But because that series does not come until next week, every single game will be after the trade deadline. You really don't know unless they completely, fall flat on their face against the Rockies and the Giants, and then it'll be a pretty obvious decision. I think it's going to be tough. I mean, I guess if they won all 6 this week and were 6 games above 500 and probably, sitting in a playoff spot at this time on Monday, I don't know that there's a ton of the fan base who would be, but we still need to sell. We need to sell Mason Miller. We need to do everything. It's but you've won 9 in a row and you're in playoff position. You're really going to sell? So barring those 2 outcomes this week, we're still going to be sitting here next Monday with a lot of these same questions and the same debate that's raging among Padres fans.
Yeah, I wonder, and I know we'll be talking about it not just today, but all week long. Is there a middle ground where you kind of get a little bit of both, where you do maybe trade off some parts to help your future? That also can help you this year. You know what I mean? Like, is there any way that you can help and to buy and sell? Exactly. I mean,
I don't envy
we've seen it before.
That AJ Preller has in front of him this week. It's a tough one this week.
Yeah, but a lot of this is doing. Like, you're the one that put you here, and now you got to kind of get yourself out of this.
All right, we'll table that for a minute, and we'll get to more Padres talk coming up. But I wanted to finish foreplay. Hate it when real life and tragedy interjects, but it happens so often. And we saw last night, if you didn't see the headlines, a shooting in Seattle at the Seattle Center, the Bite of Seattle. It's like a food festival or something. Yeah. And had that horrifying moment because my son lives up there, not very far. And, you just don't know, like when your kids are no longer in the house and they're living on their own and you see news like that. And, fortunately my son's okay. He was at work, about 15, 20 minutes away.
No, it's like not a weird thing at all for him to be like, hey, some buddies are like, hey, want to head down?
Let's go to the food festival.
Everyone else is doing it.
And you're not keeping tabs on them every moment of the day anymore. They're adults now, so they make their own decisions. You can make that.
What are you going to do?
You just don't know. And, had that moment and talked to Shelly, and she was kind of in tears just before we found out and made sure that he was okay and at work. And I texted him, and
it's terrifying.
He was at his job, he was working, but it's just so scary when they're out there in the world and you can't really control them anymore.
I remember, it was like 10 years ago now, but I think I've told this story on the show before. But back when there was the Vegas shooting at the country concert that weekend, Route 91, I think it was called. I had last talked to my mom earlier that week, and I expressed that some friends of mine were going to Vegas for this music festival, and they were like, hey, if you want to come with us, we have an extra ticket. I was like, it doesn't really sound that fun, but it is Vegas, and I was thinking about going. I was kind of on the fence. I didn't end up going, but my mom didn't know that, and we all woke up to the news that morning early of the shooting, and I was on the air that morning with Big Sills, and I remember she called me while I was on the air, so I obviously couldn't answer the phone. And she just texted me, and I still remember. She goes, oh, my God, Paul, please tell me you didn't go to Vegas. And she was terrified. I'd call her immediately during a commercial break, be like, I'm fine. I'm just at work. But the fear that must have been in her brain, thinking her son was there, and then he's not answering his phone when he probably otherwise would, it was so scary for her. It really stuck with me. I remember that. It was terrifying.
Yeah, and just reading some of the reporting this morning, it sounds like there were two people, like younger people, who were shooting at each other at this food festival thing. And all the victims, I think 3 confirmed dead and at least 4 injured and hospitalized, including a 2-year-old was injured. They were all just like collateral damage from these two people who were like shooting at each other, perhaps. And suspects are still at large,
so
and they're looking for what's going on. But just another horrible story. And I know every single one of these tragedies, and we sometimes, just to get on with our lives and on with our days, we can't stop every single time something bad happens. But when, your family member is near there, like mine was last night, you have to remember every single one of these tragedies, someone is there. It's someone's family member. Right. Someone is going through all this. Someone is more than just worried. They're actually like a victim of this. And
you feel lucky.
Yeah.
You're terrified, but then you immediately feel lucky. Yeah. And then you immediately after that feel that sense of, well, somebody else is feeling way worse than I am now.
And no different than, everybody else who has a loved one in Seattle that thought, I wonder if my loved one went to that festival, and it's scary stuff. So, I hate to have stuff like that intrude on the show on a Monday morning, but we were kind of dealing with it last night, so I just wanted to bring it up. Let's get to our first time out. When we come back, we have plenty to discuss from the weekend. How the Padres got their 3 victories was a little different than what we've seen. Craig Stammen making some strategic adjustments.
That's another angle to all of this, is how they won this weekend. It made you go, what's the clip that we always play? Just when I thought they were out, they pull me back in. I mean, that's exactly what happened this weekend when you see Manny continuing to go yard, Ty France, one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now, and then Jackson Merrill starting to turn it around.
Yeah, you can have whatever opinion as a fan you want, but the players believe they're playing good baseball right now. That's the feeling inside the Padres clubhouse, that the San Diego Padres collectively believe they are playing a good brand of baseball right now, which is a weird time to say, now, but let's give up on the season.
Exactly.
Right now when you're
Yeah.
really playing some good baseball. Just adds to the question marks, adds to the discussion that we will be getting to over the next 4 hours. Glad to have you with us. Safe travels to Woodsy. We will talk to him tomorrow. We are broadcasting live from our Bill House studios. We know how. It's Ben and Paul on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
He just here. I'll show you a little. Just a little.
Please don't.
Just a little bit. What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Not that now.
So let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing.
Let's say
It's gonna hurt.
Right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee.
It's going to in a second.
Right here.
Oh, that is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Ben Woods, brought to you by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Well, San Diego, we did it. We made it through another year of Comic-Con.
Yeah.
For some people, probably it's that sad moment knowing that it's gone for a year. For other people, it's probably a very happy moment knowing that you don't have to deal with the crowds and the traffic for another year. But one way or another, you are usually affected by Comic-Con in San Diego. Just even seeing some of the traffic on the freeways over the weekend, a lot more than I'm used to seeing as people are driving down or driving out of town yesterday.
I went
bumper to bumper on the 5-Eves, and I was trying to get up to the GOAT to play golf.
Yeah.
Going, oh, this is a little more crowded than usual. We must have had a lot of people in town, as I know we did.
I ran a couple of errands on Friday, and I got out the door later than I thought I would, and I started to pull out of my garage, and I go, why are you leaving the house at 4:40 right now, like right when it's about to be awful on the freeways? And the roads were completely clear. The store that I had to go to was pretty empty, and I go, I got home, it was like 5:15, and I go, babe, there's nobody on the road. I'm like, I wonder if everyone else was like, either A, it's a summer weekend, it could have been getting an early start on a holiday trip or something, or I was just thinking, is everybody else going, I don't I have nothing to do with Comic-Con. Like, I'm not going down for Comic-Con, so I'm just going to stay at home. I'm not avoiding.
I can see that. Like, if you're going, you're already there by Friday at 4:45.
Yeah, you're on the trolley or something.
You're there,
you already know what
you're
you're
downtown.
doing.
You're where you need to be. Everybody else is like, I'm not going downtown. I'm not going anywhere near there, so I'm just staying home today.
Like, I don't know, if you got invited to Little Italy or something, you're like, I think I'm good.
No chance this weekend. We'll pick another weekend.
Yes.
And we'll go down.
How about next week? That sounds lovely.
How about we go as far away from downtown as possible this weekend? So we made it through the heat. I don't think I saw any massive incidents over the weekend, so hopefully it went smoothly for everybody. San Diego's biggest event of the year is complete. Here's what we've got coming up. Set the menu for the Monday edition of Men and Woods. We will start by discussing the 3-game sweep of the Miami Marlins over the weekend, including yesterday's come-from-behind win as the Padres. I mean, it made a big difference. You're sitting here either 500 or 2 games under 500 to start the week. It does make a difference. If you can sweep a series, it's a huge lift. Winning a series, you got to win like 5 or 6 series in a row
to make some hay.
But you sweep 1 or 2, you can move up fairly quickly in the standings, and the Padres did. They passed the Miami Marlins. Isn't it crazy? Like 10 days ago, I think I made the argument. I don't know that you can catch the Miami Marlins. They're the hottest team in baseball. No one has played better than them since like mid-June. They just keep winning. They're already 4 or 5 games ahead of you in the standings. How good are you going to have to play over the last 2 months of the season to catch the Miami Marlins?
And that's what was so frustrating. We're like, the Marlins!
10 days later, the Padres go 5-5, and they've already passed them in the standings. Like, okay, well, that was
at 5-5.
That was totally inaccurate 10 days ago, thinking that the Marlins might be impossible to catch in the wild card race because they were playing so good. But 12 games, they have not won since the All-Star break. Doesn't it feel like the All-Star break was a month ago?
Jesus.
They have not won. They got swept the series before the All-Star break. They still haven't won since the All-Star break and have completely fallen off the map. So, yeah, the Padres did catch him at a good time. We will talk about all the games and give you the highlights in our wrap-up coming up in just a couple of minutes. All baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi, one price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity, imagine that. In our 7 o'clock hour, we'll have Don't Do This. Tony Romo running afoul of the law in Wisconsin over the weekend.
Boy. Yeah.
And one of the mug shots for the ages, I have to say.
I would think this will be up there with any other athlete's mugshot you can think of. Maybe a couple of Tiger Woods ones. I can see that it's in that tier for sure.
At 7:35, we will be joined by our only scheduled guest of the day. Usually we have Dennis Lynn, our Linsider, on Mondays, but he's feeling a little under the weather. Texted Paulie. He's going to take the day off, which is fine. We'll postpone him to tomorrow or Wednesday and talk Padres baseball. He's just worked 10 days in a row. Padres finally have an off day. We'll let Dennis get a little R&R today and try to feel better. So we'll talk to him later in the week. But we will be joined at 7:35 by our friend Craig Elston from the Padres Hot Tub Podcast and the Chromaniacs Podcast. And there was some big news over the weekend with SDFC as they signed a 3rd designated player. Their first one ever was Chucky Lozano. We know that did not work out all that nicely for SDFC. Second one was Anders Dreyer. That has been phenomenal. Another all-star season for Anders. But the new SDFC designated player that they signed over the weekend from Tunisia, Elias Achouri, who was introduced on Saturday before SDFC went out and got a much-needed 1-0 win over FC Dallas. He is said, Paulie, to be a good offensive creator, can dribble the ball maybe a little better than some other players you see in MLS.
Yeah.
More like some of the guys we saw during the World Cup last month.
Those guys are pretty good.
I mean, nutmeg a guy, go around
Right.
3 guys. That rarely happens in MLS. You don't have that many great playmakers other than Messi and a couple of really good stars. So perhaps something that SDFC could use, someone to pair with Anders Dreyer, because without anyone to help him, obviously the production has gone down a little bit lately for Anders Dreyer.
Right.
He needs, I think, a counterpart, on the side to help open him up in the middle.
100%.
So hopefully that will help SDFC offensively going forward. He has obviously not going to make his debut right away. I think he still has to get some visa approval and stuff and clearly practice a little bit with his new team.
Yeah.
A couple of other moves that SDFC made over the weekend. So we can talk to Craig about that, talk about a much-needed win over the weekend for SDFC over Dallas. All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking, it is better. In our 8 o'clock hour, we will play Real or Fake. No Woods today. Sometimes we do take on John, but I think he's off today as well. It looks like their studio is empty, maybe on vacation as well.
Maybe he's going to Hawaii. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, everyone's going to Hawaii except us, Paulie. We got left at home. So we'll play a little Real or Fake, try to qualify someone for the trip to the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and the $150 food and beverage credit. Next Monday, I'll be getting back from my weekend in Vegas, going next weekend to celebrate my son's 21st birthday. So
Next
probably
weekend, like this weekend, like
this coming
like
weekend,
in 5
yes.
days.
Coming
you'll
in
be-
Friday,
yeah.
we're going after the show on Friday, and we'll be back Sunday afternoon. Hopefully everything goes smoothly, but probably a little worse for wear on Monday morning, as you always are after a weekend in Vegas. Even if you don't party that hard, you're still in those giant hotels with the recycled air. You feel it on Monday. Coming back from Vegas.
The drive back, yep.
And that'll be trade deadline day, of course, as
don't
well.
worry about it. Nothing big happening.
I believe I heard from Adam. Kyle Glazier, our friend, is going to be with us like all day. Trade deadline day is going to join us next Monday.
I know he's going to be like there's like a 3 or 4 hour
and then
block
in the afternoon. He'll be sitting in
Yeah.
as the trade deadline, like in the hours before and after the trade deadline with Gwen and Chris and stuff as they hit that deadline and see what the Padres do or don't do. It's going to be a big topic all week long. This debate is not changing. And coming up at 8:30, since we don't have Dennis, maybe we'll open up the phone lines and see where this fan base currently stands on this Monday morning with the Padres sitting at 500 and where they are in the standings, 2 games back of a playoff spot. Not just 2 games back. Let me add this. Not just 2 games back of the final wild card, but also now only, I believe, 4 games back of the second wild card as well. The Philadelphia Phillies have struggled. They did win yesterday, but have struggled a little bit of late, and they're only 8 games above 500. So you're 4 games back of the second wild card, 2 games back of the third wild card. Keeps those playoff dreams. The more opportunities, the more teams you could pass, gives you a better chance to make the postseason at the end.
More teams bunch up.
Yeah, the more teams bunch up, it just kind of gives more opportunities out there. So just got to keep an eye on that. I mean, it's not that I think the Phillies aren't going to make the playoffs or that the Padres are going to pass them, but you do have to keep that in mind when you're looking at the standings. 9 o'clock hour, Paulie's going to give some headlines in the Rindle Report. We can do our MLB reach around and look at the rest of baseball over the weekend. We also have another giveaway coming up later in the show today. We've got tickets to see Guns N' Roses at Snapdragon Stadium on September 2nd. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com, but we're going to give out a pair of tickets to that concert that's not that far away, a little over a month away at Snapdragon Stadium with GNR coming to town. So we'll have that, and then we'll look ahead. Obviously, day off, but the rest of this week, 6 very important home games as the Padres get back after the long, tough. I mean, it's always coming out of the All-Star break, one of their toughest road trips of the season lengthwise for Comic-Con. You got to get out of Petco Park for 10 days.
Yep.
10 games. They go 5-5. They were 2-5 at one point, so 5-5 now feels better. I think we wanted them. I think we said something like 7-3 was what we needed to see. Have not seen it yet, so they weren't quite where we wanted them to be. But
why do they always have to go on like the worst parts of the country too?
Hot,
weather-wise, at
humid.
least, right after the All-Star break. I'm like, can't they just send them like get a few days off and then just one time can we open the second half of the season with like 3 in San Francisco followed by 3 or 4 in Seattle? Like it's always like Kansas City, St. Louis,
Never
DC.
works that way.
No, never works.
Never
that way.
works that way.
I would love to maybe. And we can do this, tomorrow with Woodsy here as well. But we need to try to set some sort of framework for the conversations to be had this week with the Padres. Because, if they lose tonight, does the conversation change tomorrow? If they win tonight, does the conversation change tomorrow? What if they lose tonight but then win 10-1 tomorrow? Are we back on Wednesday? I can't do this back and forth every single day.
We can't be buyers, sellers every
yes,
day.
We need to figure it out.
That's why I've been trying to be patient and waiting for the actual trade deadline to see where they are. It would be dumb to make a decision now. I mean, you want to have anytime you're making an important decision, and AJ Preller's making an important decisions for his franchise this week. Mm-hmm. You want to have the most information you can possibly have to make that decision.
Yeah.
And in this case, some of that information is the results of the next 6 games. It was the results of the last 10. Now the results of the next 6 do impact that decision. So if you're guessing what they're going to do now, you're flying half blind, not knowing what they're going to do over the next 6 games. It is important, and they are playing good baseball. I will give them that. I think this weekend saw a better brand of baseball from the San Diego Padres. Is it sustainable? Is it something we will continue to see over the rest of the season? Let's talk about that when we come back from traffic. We'll get our Padres wrap up. We'll discuss yesterday's win and get into what we saw over the weekend. Coming up next with Ben and Paul on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's your latest traffic update.
Chula Vista into San Diego, the 5 northbound, a clear trip from the 54 to the 163. The 163 southbound, sluggish through Balboa Park on your way toward the 5. I'm Sam Tidrick, Odyssey, San Diego traffic.
This report is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Before your next summer road trip, stop by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. With no appointment needed, it's an easy way to help keep your vehicle running at its best. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Coupons at SoCalOilChange.com.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing. Are you ready?
How did things play out in yesterday's game?
I liked last night's game.
It's time for the
Padres wrap up
with Ben and Woods.
You guys are the voice of San Diego.
Brought to you by Hamul Casino Resort. Hey, player, the rooftop pool's open, day passes are available, and the spa is calling your name. Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
Ruiz does square to Bunny, pulls back, takes outside, delayed steal at third. The throw goes into left field. Hicks is on his way home, and the Marlins will take a 1-0 lead. 1-1 pitch. Paulie rips it over the head of France into right field, a base hit. Conine trucks in from third. RBI single for Paulie. 2-0 here in the second inning. Bowers hits this one in the air, deep down the right field line, and it is gone. Second deck for Kyle Stowers against his hometown team. 13th of the season for the kid from El Cajon. And the Marlins add on, it's 3-0. And Machado hits it hard on a line beyond the dive of Paulie and down the left field side. Cronenworth is digging for third. He's going to be waved. Hernandez's throw comes into Lopez. The relay to the plate, no shot. RBI double Manny Machado. The Padres are on the board here in the fifth. Pitch on the way. Machado swings, hits it in the air to right center field. Ruiz racing back, still going back. This one gonna go! Line drive, home run, Manny Machado. A 2-run shot to tie the game. It's 3-3 here in the 8th. 1-1 ripped in the air to deep right field. Conine's going back. This one gonna go! Second of the inning, and the Padres have a lead for the first time today. Jackson Merrill and Manny Machado with 8th inning homers, and the Padres lead it 4-3. 1-1 in the air to left field. That's gonna get down, and a base hit for Campusano. Rengifo in to score, and the Padres add another. It's 5-3. 2-2 the pitch. Max swings and misses at a slider, strike 3. The ball game is over. Mason Miller with his 27th save, and the Padres a signature win to complete the sweep here in Miami. A 5-5 road trip and back to 500 on the year. 5-3 the final score.
At this point right now in this situation, it feels like a really big win. And anytime that you have a deficit in the 8th inning, they're bringing in their best relievers. You can come back and win a game and steal a game like that. And then finish off a series where we played really well, finish off a road trip where we kind of, got bit a little bit, and then finish it off to come 500. To really get, a sweep against a team that's was ahead of us in the playoff run. It's just a big game. It's a big win, just for momentum and those guys feeling good and being able to celebrate victory.
No doubt about it. A huge swing by Manny Machado there in the top of the 8th inning as the Padres looked like they were cruising toward a 3-1 loss or something like that late in the game.
I had totally written it off in my head already. I was just like, 3-1, not looking great. They just kind of look flat today. And you know what? They won the first 2. Take the foot off the pedal just a little bit. It kind of happens naturally. I get it. And then actually went and ran a few errands, came home. About 30 seconds before Manny hit that home run. It was amazing timing.
Yeah, the Padres early in the game started out a little sloppily, a little clumsily. Luis Campusano has been really solid offensively, and sometimes you look at the defense and you go, okay, yeah, I squint a little bit, it's not bad, and then you see something like yesterday and you go, yeah, I see why he hasn't really latched on fully as like, okay, we're going all in with him as our catcher, like he's the starting guy. That, the handling of the handling of that pitch, it was like a strike, and he caught it so poorly that it was never even thought of to be called a strike.
It's an uncomfortable watch.
It can just get kind of awkward behind the plate, and that is an important distinction when you keep in mind what Luis Campusano has done offensively. And he came through a couple of times this weekend as well, but the defense just hasn't been there. So you put yourself in an early 2-0 hole with Walker Buehler on the mound. By the way, both of those scoring runs were on walks by Walker Buehler. The only 2 walks he gave up, but I feel like there's no pitcher on the Padres staff who gets victimized more by his own walks than Walker Buehler. Like, they always seem to come around to score.
You know what you could do?
When he walks guys.
Stop walking guys.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the first thing. And he would tell you the same thing. Right. I mean, I don't think Walker Buehler is, confused about that.
No, I know.
He just loses the plate.
Any pitcher will tell you, though, it feels like, hey, you make an error, or your defense makes an error, or you put him on, that guy's going to come back to score, and it's always going to come back and bite you.
Yeah, and then, Kyle Stowers, good player. I think he got him a little off balance and still ended up hitting a home run on that swing in the 3rd inning. So you're down 3-0. Yeah, it's Sunday. It's like, we've already won the series. What are you going to do? Are you going to show us some fight, or are you just going to roll over and die? You get the 1 run on the Manny Machado double in the 5th to score Jake Cronenworth. He looked tired after he ran all the way around from first to home on that one. Walker Buehler makes it through 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Honestly, you have to sign up for that anytime you can get that from Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
Maybe it's enough to win some days, maybe it's not, but that's a number that you sign up for, especially after, and we'll talk about it, the bullpen usage the previous 2 days, aggressively going with everybody basically to get through the Friday and Saturday wins. You needed Walker Buehler to throw 90 to 100 pitches and hopefully get you into the 6th inning, and he did. Yeah, he left the game trailing 3-1, but he gave you what you needed from Walker Buehler in that game yesterday. And then, Manny comes up with a big swing in the top of the 8th inning, and then Jackson Merrill comes up with a big swing, his 15th home run of the season. 23 for Manny. Those numbers are starting to look fairly decent now, for a couple of the Padres. The averages are never going to look good, but the power numbers have been there for those guys. The average has been there for Tatis, especially the last couple of months.
Yeah, he's looking better.
And
they're going to all have, not surprise, or, not the numbers that we thought we were going to see at, the beginning of May. I mean, the conversations that we were having, Toddy still didn't have his home run. Manny was just batting 170. They're all actually going to have decent numbers at the end of the year like they always do, but what's the record going to be? Where's the team going to be at? That's really the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that I'm concerned with, at least. Care less about individual batting averages.
And since we did harp on the fact that the Padres had the worst offense in baseball for the first 3 months of the season, ranked dead last, 30th in most categories, right, I think it's fair to point out that has changed. And A.J. Cassavell had the tweet yesterday, said you can't just throw out the first 2.5 months of the season, but if you do, and again, you can't, Padres have a top 5 offense since mid-June. So over the last now 5.5, 6 weeks, Padres have one of the best 5 offenses in baseball. I don't know. I mean,
didn't we also talk last Friday about since April 25th or whatever the record was or the date was that they have the worst record in baseball? I just said, I don't really care about numbers as far as averages and stuff. I care about the record of the team, wins and losses. And so, since June, they've been great. Well, since, May, they've had the worst record since in baseball.
A lot of that because the starting pitching has struggled so much. But they have fixed a lot of the struggles that they had offensively. And we got a little insight into Jackson Merrill over the weekend. No real details, but Craig Stammen saying that they found a little mechanical, just a small tweak that they feel like has allowed Jackson Merrill to now attack the ball. You're certainly seeing it. Went 5 for 8 in the last 2 games. He is
And I
definitely
know
been
we don't know
hitting
the
for more
details.
power. Yeah.
Similar to like what Manny was working with. Remember, he was working on something new like all off season, realized this ain't it, and had to kind of revert back to everything in the middle of the season, which is extremely hard to do.
Yeah, and he was trying to undo a tweak. Jackson Merrill needed to make a tweak.
Yeah.
I mean, get into the weeds of mechanics of hitting, but guys have made improvements over the course of the season. Give the Padres credit for making those adjustments. Maybe they came too late. It would have been nice if they had figured it out in, May or, earlier in the season, so they didn't have these struggles all the way through. But they out hit the Marlins 13-5 yesterday. It may have been a close game where they had to come from behind, but ultimately, offensively, they did a lot more at the plate than the Marlins did. Marlins just happened to get a couple of early offense and almost made it stand up. But 13-5 is a fairly dominating performance when it comes to hits against an opponent. Yeah. And then the bullpen did a real nice job after Walker Buehler left the game. 3 2/3 innings, just 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Wandy Peralta, who had been struggling, no doubt about it, came through to get the win, and Mason Miller gets his 27th save. You just keep wondering, how many more will he have in a San Diego Padres uniform? Every time he takes the mound, I now start thinking, is this the last time we're going to see him in the San Diego Padres? Or, are we going to see him for another 3 seasons or more with the San Diego Padres? We don't know the answer to that question right now.
I really don't know. I think there's obviously a conversation to be had. There's no denying you can get a ton for Mason Miller. I don't want them to trade him. I could understand if they do. I would be open to the idea, I guess. I don't want them to do it ultimately. I love Mason Miller. He is so much fun to watch. Just hasn't gotten a chance to pitch as much as we would have liked this year. We're not able to use him very much. And you look at the future of the franchise, they're in a pretty rough spot as far as the future. So can you help yourself? But like we said earlier, I want to know. I want to explore. Can they buy and sell? I don't want the conversation to be just focused on Mason Miller this week. I think Morihone is a much bigger conversation because that's a guy that's on an expiring contract who is going to get a buttload of money over the offseason that you're not going to be able to pay him.
I think AJ Preller has to listen, and he does. I think we know that AJ Preller listens to as crazy as the ideas are. Right. He will always listen and pick up the phone. And if you hear something that you go, yeah, it's Mason Miller, but we're getting this and this and that, and we can help each other now and in the future, you do have to think about it. But you don't have to give him away. You absolutely do not have to go. We have to unload Mason Miller. No, that's not how this works. All right, we'll continue to talk about it. Had 2 other wins over the weekend to discuss, all coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. San Diego Padres win 3 straight against the Miami Marlins and have pulled back to 500 here as we wake up on July 27th. I would also like to wish a happy wedding anniversary to my parents, Kim and Steve Higgins.
Oh, happy anniversary.
On this July 27th.
Happy belated birthday to my mother, then, while we're doing some shout-outs.
All right, and happy belated birthday to Tier 1 Clinton in our YouTube chat. Saw that it was his birthday yesterday as well, so handle all the shout-outs this morning. Another somewhat change for your San Diego Padres over the weekend, Paulie, was with how they handled the pitching. Mm-hmm. And Craig Stammen discussed this on Friday on pitcher usage going forward. Quote, "We're just trying to piece it together. Use all 13 pitchers and figure out a way to get through the game. Limited exposure or get guys in the right lanes, however you want to call it. It'll probably be more of the norm going forward." And what we saw on Friday and Saturday was exactly that. It was the San Diego Padres not afraid to mix up different, they pulled their starter from...
He said that after the game on Friday,
I think
right?
he said that after the game on Friday, yes.
Because that would have made it a lot more sense on Friday if he said that before the game, because we were all texting each other going, what the hell is going on? Why did he pull Marquez after 30
Germán Marquez
pitches?
Was the scheduled starter, went out there looking like a normal starter, pitched 2 1/3 innings, gave up 1 run, 4 strikeouts, and then all of a sudden was out of the game for Kyle Hart. And you texted and you go, why are they taking Marquez out so early?
Did I look away and miss something? Is he hurt? Like, what's going on here?
And then Kyle Hart came in for a couple of innings, decent innings, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, and the Padres pieced together a win at the end of the game. They got it to Adrian Morejon. Obviously, that was the day that Luis Rengifo hit the big tie-breaking 2-run home run in the top of the 8th inning. Well, it wasn't perfect, but they found a way to get some late offense, get it to Morejon and Miller, who ended up sealing the 4-2 win on Friday night. And then after the game, you find out from Craig Stammen, we're going to be a little more aggressive. I don't know if you want to call it bullpen games versus, just a starter or some sort of normal model that you have for pitching, but then they canceled J.P. Sears as the scheduled starter for Saturday and went with TBD, and they ultimately ended up with Randy Vasquez on the mound. But again, he was also pulled after just 2 2/3 innings. He'd only given up 1 hit, 1 earned run, and 2 walks, but he clearly wasn't going to be a traditional starter. I don't know that it's not really an opener either. It's just
weird. It's just what they are. It's like they're, you hear the term like 4A players, like they're like that kind of blend of, they're not just relegated to the bullpen, but you can't give them a full start every 5th day. I mean, J.P. Sears, Randy Vasquez, Germán Marquez, these are all guys that are like, 6s and 7s typically in your rotation. So are you just like going to piggyback a bunch of 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s that you have on your roster until you have more of a dominant starting pitcher?
Yeah, and I mean, there is some numbers behind that if you don't let guys face the order, certainly 3 times, but even this is more
2,
like
1.5.
1.5, like getting through maybe if you've got a righty in the game, get them through some early righties, then the bottom of the order once, and then maybe those righties again, and then don't let them even face that second part of the order. That this is how we're going to see the Padres operate going forward. It's a risky strategy.
Do they have enough horses to even keep that up for 2 full months?
Well, you're going to need some days like Walker Buehler getting into the 6th, Michael King, pitching 7 innings, and if you do that, then you can probably piece together the other days and get the most out of your bullpen. It, as we've said all season, it's your biggest strength. Is your deep bullpen. It's something that other teams don't have. So how do you employ that going forward? And it's partly a sign of desperation. It's partly a sign that, Griffin Canning has not got the job done as a starting pitcher, that Lucas Giolito and Joe Musgrove and Nick Pivetta are still on the injured list, that this is all the Padres have left. And it's probably, I think, a smart decision by the San Diego Padres to do this, because the alternative we saw wasn't working.
Right.
Try to get how many innings out of Griffin Canning? Try to get how many innings out of Germán Marquez? And ultimately, you're going to fail if you keep doing that over and over again. If it's not working, try something different. They did this weekend, and it worked.
Yeah.
Is that a knife's edge way to operate the rest of the season? It is really hard to continue to consistently make that work because
that doesn't seem sustainable.
You have one day where Walker Buehler gets knocked out in the third inning, or even Michael King has a bad day. And now all of a sudden your bullpen's in a horrible spot because you just used them a ton for the other games. That can be a snowball that just rolls down the hill and turns into an avalanche that you cannot recover from.
Yeah.
So you
need more than Michael King to get you.
It's your, hit in case of emergency button. We don't have any other options, and you don't need to necessarily do it for the rest of the season, but you need to do it until you potentially get reinforcements from a Nick Pivetta or a Joe Musgrove, who both did throw live VP sessions over the weekend. Got the update that they are continuing to make progress in a potential return. A rehab assignment could be coming here in the next week or two. But still, a return until at least the middle of August or late August seems fairly unlikely. And after that, you have no idea how effective they will be.
I think it's wishful thinking to think either of them pitch in August. I think you're probably looking at early to mid-September, honestly, with how much they need. I mean, Joe hasn't pitched in like 2 years. It's not just like, give him a rehab start, maybe 2, and he's good to go. It's going to be an adjustment for him, and then we have no idea how Nicky P's feeling. I don't know. I think anything less than like late August at the earliest, I think was probably ambitious.
But, Padres are playing a better brand of baseball. We saw it again on Saturday with the 7-2 win over the Marlins. And this is, again, you'll need more games like Saturday as well, where not only does your bullpen piece it together for the 9 innings, but your offense then scores enough that you were able to.
Guys.
Yeah. So at the end of that game, remember, they had Adrian Morejon up, and then they had Mason Miller up. But because the Padres scored extra offense, they were able to use Matt Waldron for the last couple of innings to close out that game and the 7-2 win, which
that's huge.
You're not going to feel comfortable in a 4-3 game, but you also can't use Adrian Morejon and Mason Miller every day. If they had to use them on Saturday, then yesterday might have been a different story. You rally, you take the lead, but who do you have to close out that game? So Saturday's win and the extra offense that they scored late in that game was critical in helping win on Sunday. And we had those conversations before. Why don't they use Miller more aggressively?
Right.
We had a huge conversation, last week about, in Kansas City, they should have left him in the next inning. Well, Craig Stammen was thinking about the next couple of days potentially and going, I need to save my guys. Well, in this case, he was doing it again. This is what it looks like when it works, though.
Right.
You score some extra offense, you let Matt Waldron finish the game, and then you can deploy your highest leverage relievers on a Sunday with a day off on Monday to make sure you close out the sweep of the Miami Marlins. So, that's what it looks like when it works. We've seen what it looks like when it doesn't work.
I mean, it certainly tells you the way that we've just talked about this whole segment, how they've utilized the starting pitching and they're kind of piggybacking a bunch of guys together. Is it sustainable? Is it not sustainable? I don't know. But doesn't that tell you that them doing that this weekend in particular tells me there's a ton of urgency in the Padres system, like whether it's Craig Stammen, whether it's A.J. Preller telling Craig Stammen, what to do, or a combination of both. There's certainly some urgency like, hey, these aren't just maybe one of 162. They're like, hey, we need to win some ball games this week to decide where we're going.
Give credit to J.P. Sears when he came in after Randy Vasquez, threw another solid 3 1/3 innings. He's pitched pretty well his last, 3 times maybe on the mound. Padres will need more of that going forward. Gave up only a hit and a walk and struck out 3, ended up picking up the win. And I thought there was an interesting moment in Saturday's game, Paul. You pointed it out on the text thread. Last week, we saw the Dodgers lose a run when Shohei Ohtani got tagged out at second base, was it? And then Eddie Pajes had
running around, trying to score from second.
Gave the sign like stand up, and he slowed down and he got tagged out at second before the runner scored at home. The Padres had the very kind of same situation in the top of the 3rd inning on Saturday. Manny Machado's on second base, and Ty France delivers a single, a 1-run scores, and then Manny's coming around from third. It's not going to be a play at the plate. Ty France is trying to get to second base.
I don't know what he was thinking.
Well, I think he's thinking they're throwing home to get Manny, but instead they throw to second base. Had Manny slowed up a bit on that play, it would have been the same scenario where Ty France would have been tagged out in the run.
You saw on the replay, you see Jackson Merrill going, go, go, go. Like, you got to score because he saw where the throw was going.
And the communication was good there. Like, it wasn't slide, but it was like sprint to the plate because there's going to be a play at second.
That's all we were saying. Like, I remember when we argued about it last year when it was Arise, I think, was Cadillacing it down the line. And I'm going, dude, when they're saying, hey, take it easy, slow it up, it's really all on that guy, that on-deck batter. And when Merrill's going, go, 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 he saw that play developing because it's happening right in front of him. Manny's got his back turned. He doesn't know Ty France is going to second base. And I just thought, wow, we've argued about this now like 2 or 3 times, whether it was the Padres or a different team. And so finally, it happened the opposite. It happened the way it was supposed to happen.
So credit to Jackson Merrill and Manny Machado for good communication among teammates in that situation. That meant 2-run lead, which when the Marlins then scored in the bottom of the third inning, you're still ahead and you're able to turn things over to Sears and then finish out the game with some extra offense and win that one. So, that's I think what they mean when, Jake talked about it. We're playing better baseball. This is what better baseball looks like. Is it too late? It might be. It honestly, it might be too late for the San Diego Padres. Is it always good to be playing better baseball? Of course it is. And I'm glad that we are seeing some of it from the Padres right now. Can they keep it going up? Can they do it at home this week against opponents that they should be beating again in the Colorado Rockies and the San Francisco Giants? We will see.
It's, again, all they can do is play the games that are on their schedule. I just, because these teams are so bad. I mean, the Marlins are... Do you think they outperformed? Do you think they're just on a losing streak right now and they're just not playing well? Or do you think they outperformed? This is kind of who they are and they just outperformed in the first half. Because I don't think they're a very good team.
For a lot longer than they played poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, they did. They played well for a month and a half.
I think
They've only played badly for 2 weeks.
You look at those rosters, though, like they're the Marlins, you're the Padres, you have Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Xander. Like, you're supposed to beat the Marlins. I understand that they haven't beaten a lot of those teams this year, and it's kind of been frustrating. So it puts that point in your brain. You're going, well, are they playing well, or are they just playing a really bad team in a really bad stretch?
I think the Marlins are hitting like 200 over the last couple of weeks during this streak. So their offense has gone cold. That does happen.
That's not the Padres' problem, though. They're just going out there and worrying about them, and they can only go out there.
It's nice that it happens to other teams and not just our team.
Right.
It goes extremely cold and hits 200 as a team and loses a bunch of games.
It's not like you're on a 9-game losing streak and, oh, thank God, the Padres are coming to town, and you get things turned around.
All right, let's take a time out. When we come back, we will get to Don't Do This. Teased it earlier. Maybe a mugshot for the ages from a fairly high-profile athlete turned broadcaster over the weekend. We'll get to that, and then Craig Elston going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Bennett Woods, live from the Bill House Studios. We know how on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, there's a certain feeling late in a close game. Everything matters. One bad break can change the outcome. For a lot of people, retirement feels the same way. You've worked hard, you've saved, but the questions keep coming. Will this money last? What happens if the market drops? What about healthcare costs? And what does inflation do over the next 20 or 30 years? That uncertainty is real. Trajan Wealth helps people turn that uncertainty into a plan. TRAJANwealth.com. Their fiduciary advisors work with you to build a retirement strategy designed for real life, not just best case scenarios. And they're right here in San Diego with offices in Carlsbad and in Escondido and at Liberty Station. If this is something you've been meaning to look into, start simply. Just visit TRAJANwealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN1 to talk to their team. That's 1-855-TRAJAN1. And again, online, TRAJANwealth.com. Trajan Wealth. Plan smarter, dream bigger. Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC. Actual client, paid advertisement. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Ben Woods brought to you by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com, and we will go all the way back to Friday after the show for our first DDT story, when there was some breaking news. According to the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, broadcaster and former NFL quarterback Tony Romo was stopped on a high-rise bridge while driving south on the I-43 in Wisconsin, where he was detained after performing poorly on standardized field sobriety tests. Arrested around 6:15 p.m. on Thursday, Paulie booked into jail at 9:45, where his mugshot was taken under standard procedure. And I don't know. We've got it up in our YouTube stream. I don't know if anyone has ever seemed so pleased with themselves for getting arrested.
I don't know how else to describe it other than he's got an S-eating grin, like a smirk on his face.
I mean, his face is red. Apparently, he had been playing in a golf tournament, according to reports during the day, which may explain some of the sunburn qualities to his face, but it also makes him look like he's more sheets to the wind.
The hair is just disheveled. It's the smile, though.
Again, he was arrested at 6:15, and he was booked around 9:45. So this has got to be like 3 hours after. You've got to figure that's a bad 3 hours. You've been arrested. You've been in handcuffs. You've been at a holding cell at a police station. Wherever you are, how can you possibly be in such a good mood? I mean, there's a twinkle in his eye, a smirk on his face. He just looks like he's happy as a clam. Yeah. I don't know. Does anyone use that expression anymore? Why are clams happy? I've got no idea.
Still don't know.
I mean, that's all I can describe it as, is Tony Romo is happy as a clam after getting arrested for driving under the influence in Wisconsin.
Smug shot. Call that a smug shot. Yeah, 100%. Unbelievable.
Like, what does he know that we don't know? Like, I mean,
he's like, maybe he's still feeling really, really good.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean,
Hours after the fact.
That's a guy that's got however many millions and millions of dollars in the bank. He's like, whatever. He's probably still having a lot of fun. He goes, this doesn't mean nothing to me.
Due to appear in court on September 21st. I don't know. I haven't seen any reaction from his employer at CBS at this time, if that's going to affect anything. But, man, Tony, I mean, that's a mugshot for the ages, to be sure.
Yeah. Switching gears, staying in the NFL, I guess. This is a breaking news story that's still developing and still a lot of questions, but it's definitely a don't do this. The wife of Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, it says here, was shot last night at their home in Virginia. Mia Bieniemy, 57 years old, has been hospitalized. That's according to sources. Police in Virginia have not confirmed that it was her. They just said that somebody was being treated for serious injuries, but with no identity. So Eric Bieniemy's in Missouri right now at the campus of Missouri Western State. That is where the team has a training camp underway right now. So that's really all of the details we know. The Chiefs have said they're aware of an incident and they're looking more into it, but no idea who, motive, what could have happened. I have no idea, but the OC of the Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy, his wife was shot last night in Virginia.
And
Very scary.
This is after Eric Bieniemy has just returned to the Chiefs after he was gone for a few years.
Right.
He was in Kansas City from 2013 to 2022.
Yep.
And then he went to the Washington Commanders, and then he went to UCLA, and then he was a running backs coach for the Chicago Bears, and now back to the Kansas City Chiefs as an offensive coordinator. Certainly a scary story, as we're seeing training camps start to open around the NFL. That is not how you wanted to get your season started if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, so we'll keep an eye on what's going on at their training camp with Eric Bieniemy's family. All right, finally, a little do this.
DD mega do-do.
And no one can stop me. It's a golf story. Shocker, surprise, surprise.
I can stop you.
You can try. I want to give credit, though. Local, fellow Torrey Pines High School alum, Michael Kim joined one of golf's most elite clubs and exclusive clubs on Friday in the second round of the 3M Open in Minneapolis, when he shot just the 15th 59 in PGA Tour history. And he did it as spectacularly as I think anybody has ever done it. He had to birdie the last four holes, 15, 16, 17, and 18 to shoot 12 under par in the second round, par 71, so 59 to join that exclusive club. And the putt he made on the last hole was like 25 feet or something. It's the longest putt ever made on the PGA Tour to shoot a 59. Other guys have done it with like par putts, short birdie putts, but that was the longest putt that was ever sunk. He did not. He had a big lead at the time, obviously. Did not end up winning the tournament. The tournament win, this is actually a pretty cool story as well, went to Jackson Coyven, who just turned 21 a couple of months ago, just finished his college career at Auburn, turned pro 24 days ago, and is already a winner on the PGA Tour. And he did it by beating Scotty Scheffler by 3 shots and shooting a 66. Did not make a bogey the entire weekend. Shot 61 on Saturday, 66 on Sunday. Keep an eye on this kid. He's going to be potentially a future star. Just joined the tour.
So was that his first event?
His third event. So,
okay.
24 days. So, like 3 weeks. This was event number 3.
Can't believe it took him 3 whole tournaments before he won.
I think it took Tiger longer to get into the
crazy.
win column, and he's only 21. He was the top amateur player in the country in college, and now already a winner on the PGA Tour. The future very bright for young Jackson Coyven.
Woodsy just bought a Jackson Coyven rookie card.
I would think that would be smart at this point. And that is don't and do this for a Monday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Had a couple of stories that didn't even make the cut over the weekend. Let's see. Alabama's NIL content director. I'm not sure exactly what that means. It's called Yay Alabama. It's like their NIL collective, like San Diego State has the what's it called theirs?
Obviously, it's the Mesa Foundation.
Mesa Foundation, yeah. So this is like the guy who helps run that. Was arrested on Thursday for solicitation of prostitution during a human trafficking operation. His name is Aaron Suttles, and he's alleged to have paid $100 for sexual activity. 49 years old in Alabama.
Huh.
It's a good weekend for Auburn. You got the kid from Auburn who wins on the
That's
PGA
the director
Tour,
of NIL?
and their director of NIL.
Director of NIL. NIL meaning like how you convince athletes to come to your school, and interesting.
I've never engaged in any of that. Obviously, Paulie, I know you haven't either.
That shocks me, Ben.
When you realize that you have walked into like a sting and it's like it's an undercover officer, is there probably like no worse feeling like you can almost have at that point?
Your pants are around your ankles.
I don't even know where. I don't know at what point like they get to, but like you've already agreed like to the price and whatever, and you're thinking, okay, let's go, and all of a sudden the badge comes out.
I don't know how that works. Like, is it like, does the badge need to come out like as soon as a price is agreed to, or like do they let you?
I have no idea.
How much further does it go before they let you get really uncomfortable? I don't know.
I really don't really want to know, but I kind of want to know, but I don't want to know.
If you want to know, I mean, you can find out.
I'm sure there's a Reddit thread somewhere that details the entire process of getting in a sting operation, undercover vice officers in a prostitution bust.
Like, you lose your job. That guy loses his job, right?
I've got to think so.
How do you explain that one away?
Well, when you get a public-facing job like that.
Yeah, he's done.
Absolutely,
yeah,
right?
He's gone.
The other weird story, since we just got a minute, I do want to get to Craig, though. See the story about Kyle Shanahan over the weekend?
Yes.
49ers coach,
yes,
who was in apparently a serious car accident like almost 2 weeks ago, like 11 or 12 days ago, and no one reported on it. Like, some people may have known about it, but the 49ers kind of kept it quiet.
I saw accusations that local media that cover the team on a regular basis did know about it and were like pressured or asked by the team to not run with it because they wanted to address it. And I saw it was very bizarre, and I saw that would be super unethical.
That's a long time for that. You can, as a courtesy, if you cover a team, you can delay a story a little bit, like to give a team. But 11 days is a long time because that's an important story. Like who's going to take his job while he's recovering? They've named, I think, one of the assistant coaches.
I don't know. I think it's a bad look if you're the reporter to really give any certainly that much wiggle room for them to have all this time in the world to come up with a statement and let them have complete and total control of the narrative. If I'm a fan of the team and I read that person every day that admits, or like you find out that they knew about that, in the grand scheme of things, I don't know that it's the biggest deal in the world, Kyle Shanahan getting in a car accident.
But if he didn't do anything
I would ask,
wrong,
what else are you guys hiding?
I think even public figures are entitled to some measure of privacy. If he didn't do anything wrong, just the victim of got sideswiped by someone and gotten, in the hospital.
Why wouldn't you want to talk about that?
That doesn't necessarily have to be news, but it is a little weird how it was all handled. He was at practice for a short time yesterday, out on the field, had like a cast on his arm, but they say he's not really going to be able to do all the coaching stuff, maybe until the start of the season. So
I don't know. It's just weird that the team's like, please don't write about that. We know nothing to see here. We'll talk about it in a few days.
Definitely a little weird.
Yeah.
We'll take a time out. When we come back, Craig Elston will join us. We'll talk about the moves made by SDFC over the weekend. We'll get his thoughts on the Padres sweep with the Miami Marlins as well. That is all coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
He just, here, I'll show you a little. Just a little.
Please
Just a
don't.
little bit. What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Nothing. Now,
So let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing.
Let's say
It's going to hurt.
Right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee.
It's going to in a second.
Right here.
That is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Busy weekend in San Diego. Comic-Con is over, but MLS season is back in swing. The Padres are 1 week away from the trade deadline, and joining this morning to talk all about it on our SDCCU fan hotline, it's not Big Bank Banking, it is better. Our friend, the host of the Padres Hot Tub and Chromaniacs podcast, Craig Elston, joins us for his regular Monday hit. Now, Craig, let's start with soccer and the big news over the weekend. Elias Achuri, the Tunisian star who the SDFC signed as a designated player. How excited are we about SDFC getting another DP onto their roster?
The sooner he gets out there, the better. First off, because some of the reporting afterwards is that it could be a handful of weeks to see him get, I guess, acclimated into the team and into training. It's not like baseball where you can just throw him in the lineup and let him go. You've got to have that team framework in place. But Achuri essentially, to me, replaces Chucky Lozano. He's an attacking, dynamic left wing who's going to be coming in. He's right-footed from the left wing, so he's got that inversion going for him. He's going to be putting pressure on defenses over there that doesn't exist right now. Alex Mighton has been starting at left wing. He's essentially been a defensive player in that position, much more used for the press than for creating anything offensively. And I think when you combine Achuri on the left wing with Gabriel Pirani coming in to the left midfield and maybe taking Oni Valakari's spot in there, the idea is that you're going to start to see a lot more dynamic offensive play and the opportunity to put multiple goals on the board, which has been lacking for SDFC most of the season.
Now, obviously, this is not a name that moves the needle among casual soccer fans. I had never heard of him when they signed him, but this is probably what we should have expected all along in terms of someone they think is going to be a good fit going forward rather than someone who's going to sell some tickets to Snapdragon Stadium?
You said it, man. Chucky Lozano was very importantly signed before Tyler Heaps or Mikey Varas got here. So they inherited him even as the first ever sporting director and first ever head coach. Chucky was already on board, and obviously that didn't work out. This is a player that Tyler Heaps has gotten the chance to interview and scout and vet and talk to in person and really figure out what kind of guy they are bringing into the organization. I think they know they have to get this right. Because right now SDFC is not a top side in the Western Conference. They are currently outside the playoff picture looking in, but they certainly don't show the quality of a Vancouver or a Nashville or some of the other top teams in the league. So they know they've got to get this right. I think they've done their homework, and in Achuri, they're really hoping that they not only gain some offense on that side of the field, but then more importantly, take some pressure off Anders Dreyer, give him some more space to operate. If Anders can stop seeing a double and triple team every time he gets the ball in the attacking third, that's going to be great news for himself, Achuri, and Marcus Ingvartsen.
So what do we make of the 1-0 win over FC Dallas? It seemed to me, from what I watched, a little more SDFC-like, controlling the possession. They almost made the giant mistake late in the game again, as Manodua just what are you doing, man? The back pass to the opposition for a free breakaway, but thanks to his insane speed, he was able to make up for it. And it was looking like, this is going to be a 1-1 draw, and they're going to give up 2 more points again at the end. Didn't happen. Maybe just getting through that once is going to help them going forward.
On our Cremaniacs post-game show on YouTube Saturday night, I said maybe, and it's a funny thing to say, but I think maybe the most important thing of this entire match is that they didn't blow it at the end. And that fireman play, as Mikey Varas says, was made by Manodua, because absolutely there were 90-ish really solid minutes in front of that play that were something to build upon. SDFC looked like themselves for the first time in a long time. And I would also note FC Dallas didn't utilize a high press as much as the other opponents have been doing against San Diego. And I think maybe that was a tactical error on their part. But yeah, that last play was kind of everything in a weird and sick way, because it gives them 3 points. It gives them a stepping stone, essentially something they can put their foot on and try and move upward, because you're only 6 points out of like a home playoff spot right now, but there's 1,000 teams in between you in there. So, kind of like the Padres, it's not just as easy as you get a win, you move up a game. You need help every single weekend, but they're not that far away. And when you think about 14 points dropped in the 80th minute or later this year, they'd be like in 4th place if they hadn't blown all these games this season. So that's really the number one thing they have to fix.
And then before we get to the Padres, just to finish out with soccer, the Wave lost 2-0 yesterday. They have, it's not a designated player, but they added a star player in Katarina Macario, but haven't seen hide nor hair of her in now like 2 months since she was signed. They lose their best performer on the field in Dugenia, who gets hurt during international play, and it's starting to affect the team. Like if they don't get Macario on the field, kind of see things slipping away for the Wave here.
A little bit. And while she hasn't been on the field very much at all, Trinity Armstrong went down over the last week for a season-ending injury as well. And I think she's a really, really important player on the team. They just haven't gotten to see her really all year long. I definitely agree. When you lose Dugenia, you lose that engine that you can just keep feeding the ball and relying on over and over again. Yesterday's Wave loss was extremely frustrating. I'm sure soccer fans got at least a little bit used to the idea of XG over the World Cup, expected goals, kind of soccer's sabermetrics. And the sabermetrics yesterday were 2.56 XG for San Diego, 0.3 for Seattle, and the actual score was 2 Seattle, 0 San Diego. So that just kind of tells you how much San Diego controlled the ball without finishing. And there were some really good saves along the way, but there were also a lot of defused opportunities. I really believe in this SC Wave team, But I think you nailed it. Kat Macario, who they knew when they signed her that, she had a knee injury that was, a long-term situation and that they were targeting toward the end of the year for her return. But the idea of her paired with Dudinha, it's so exciting. It's so intoxicating, honestly. And we haven't been able to see it. We won't see it until next year. But getting Macario back at some point in the end of the year is the key for them to unlock a championship potential, which I do think they have.
Talking to Craig Elston, let's switch to baseball. I said to Paulie at the beginning of the show, I don't know that I've ever seen the Padres fan base so divided about their own team and what they should do at the trade deadline and even what they think of the team. I think there are fans who think that this is probably a pretty decent team at this point. And you can make the argument offensively. They've turned things around. The bullpen is great. Yeah, the starting pitching is still not there, but if you squint and you see Nick Pivetta and Joe Musgrove coming back, I can imagine a pretty decent team in August and especially September and October if they get there. But I can't argue with the people who go, no, don't dream on this team. There's just not enough there. There's not enough pitching. The most likely scenario is they're going to fall apart in the last couple of months. Don't put any resources into this team. Where are you kind of thinking right now with the Padres fan base?
I mean, it is so tough, and we did our main Padres Hot Tub show last night, and the phrase that I used, I'll share here on the radio, which is trapped by the standings. I think the Padres are in a standings trap right now that's really hard to get out of because it's extremely difficult given the narrative behind this franchise, the way they've talked about themselves, the way they have operated for the last 6 years, and the messages they've given to the clubhouse, clearly, based on what the players are saying back. It is very difficult to then, take advantage of the free spot on the bingo board here, a free-falling Marlins team. You sweep them. You need to get a comeback to get that sweep, but you sweep them, and now you're 500. You're 2 games out of a playoff spot. How could you possibly sell, right? How could you tear it down? What's the message you send to the team if you trade Michael King and Adrian Morejon in a package deal to get a starter that you think might be able to be in your rotation next year? That's not going to fly based on the messaging the Padres have created for themselves. With that said, I do not believe the Padres should trade any of their top 3 prospects. I do not believe they should trade Ethan Salas, but I also do not believe they should trade Cruz Schoolcraft or Cash Mayfield. What's killing this team right now, I believe they have been chasing a terrible trade for a full year, and that is the Freddie Fermin trade, one of the worst trades in Padres history.
Yeah.
They acquired a completely mediocre, below replacement level catcher in exchange for 2 young arms. And yeah, Ryan Burgert's been hurt this year. Stephen Kolek has not been hurt this year, but those are 2 arms that they've just been chasing and chasing and chasing to try and get back. And what you do is you fill those spots with Walker Buehler and German Marquez, or Kyle Hart and Lucas Giolito, or however you want to put it.
Nestor Cortez and JP Sears.
Right. Spending money, spending
right.
$3-4 million each time to chase these slots that are supposed to be filled by $1 million young controllable arms. The Padres need those arms at some point. And I don't think Mayfield or Schoolcraft even contribute to the team next year. And that doesn't matter. At some point, you've got to hold in order to have replenishable resources going forward. You can't consistently go out there in March and say, who's the starter that got DFA'd or is looking for a minor league deal? We're going to fill our team with that. That's what this team is filled with. They're filled with a bunch of cast-offs from other pitching staffs. And the idea of using the 2024 Tigers pitching chaos, strategy, it worked for a weekend. And to be very honest, with the Giants and the Rockies in the front view mirror, in head of the windshield here, it could keep working for the next week. I don't know it can work all the way through August. I really don't. But furthermore, I don't think there's a starter out there that you can get without moving Salas that is better than the theoretical return of Nick Pivetta or Joe Musgrove. So if we're going to spend one of those young power lefty arms, 6'7", 6'9" guys, we're going to trade that for Freddie Peralta a 2-month rental, or some other kind of 5 ERA starter, a Griffin Canning clone, but maybe he's better. How does that make the team improved? It just ruins our 2029 for maybe one more win. I'm not about that. I'm all about hold on with this team. It is absolutely a risk, an opportunity risk to not sell King and Morahone, because those are guys you could get something back for who are almost undoubtedly gone at the end of the year, like 98% gone at the end of the year. So that is the opportunity cost risk you take. But if you're trapped by the standings, my personal feeling right now is basically hold. Like, if you want to make, I would go for a couple relievers. That's what I would go for, Ben. I would go for a reliever or two, somebody that can knock Canning and Waldron off this roster, and then embrace the pitching chaos theory and say, okay, we're going to go with a 2-man starting rotation and 11-man bullpen for the next month. But our bullpen's going to be really, really good. And let's see how many games we can grind out this way, because the team is playing now the way I actually thought all the way back in March on our predictions episode on Padres Hot Tub. This is the team I expected to see, the one we've seen since the All-Star break. Really good offense, good bullpen that closes down games, and a starting rotation that is always pitching to an ERA of 4.5 to 5. That's what I thought this team was going to be. They're doing that now. They're figuring out ways around it. And I want to give Craig Stammen a little bit of credit as a first-year manager. Before I've kind of thought, man, is he unambitious? Does he have an ego? But him being kind of a managerial etch-a-sketch where he, draws a picture. Oh, he doesn't like it. Shake it. Start over. He's egoless in that sense. He's willing to do it. And whether he is a vessel for the front office's ideas that are being poured in, or whether it is a vessel for a Ben Fritz or a Niebla's ideas to be bubbling up from within the staff, I got to give Stammen a lot of credit that he has the ability to look at something and go, yeah, you know what? We're going to completely change that. Last point on that, Ben. Xander Bogaerts batting 8th, something that should have happened months ago. Xander Bogaerts is batting 8th. He can't hurt us down there. He can beat Chris Gomez down there and just, occasionally contribute and not hurt the team, as opposed to batting 3rd.
I made the argument last week that hold might be the best option for the San Diego Padres, with the full knowledge, and I explained this to Paulie and Woods, that you always look bad when you hold, because if you hold and you miss the playoffs by a couple of games, you go, oh, why didn't we sell? Well, we could have gotten some stuff. If you hold and you make the playoffs, you go, why didn't we buy and bolster this team? We made the playoffs. We could have made a run. No matter what you do when you hold, it looks bad at the end of the season, unfortunately. But I can't disagree.
The Padres were just in this position 3 years ago with Blake Snell. Had a Cy Young season, and because we thought, hey, we're not that far out of it. Maybe we hold on.
They held. I mean,
they bought on the fringes. Was that Rich Hill and G-Man Choi?
They should have sold, or they should have bought more and made the playoffs. But they did neither, and it always looks bad when you hold at the end of the season, unfortunately. And I feel like we're heading down that road again. And yet, I still think hold makes the most sense at the moment, because I think what you said, that clubhouse is not going to take it well if they're playing their best baseball and you sell. So that's tough. Craig, really great insight as always. Appreciate it. We will talk to you again on trade deadline day next Monday.
Oh, let's go, boys. Can't wait. Talk to you then.
Craig Elston on our SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking, it's better. And we will parlay that into an 8 o'clock hour. Hopefully take some of your phone calls as well. What you think? Padres, buy, sell, hold. Are they playing good enough baseball for you? Did you see enough this weekend against the Miami Marlins? We will get to all of it coming up next with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Halfway home on a Monday. Welcome back to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. I believe that the Woods clan is now officially en route to their Hawaiian vacation.
I would assume they're probably in the air by now, yeah.
Safe travels to Woods and Hannah and Bo and Taylor. I know they're going to have a great time over the next 10 days. Woodsy did take the equipment. He's going to rejoin us tomorrow starting at 6 a.m., which will be 3 a.m., I believe, Hawaiian time. The old 3 to 7 a.m. shift is not one of the most enviable radio shifts out there.
No, even when you're working from home and that working from home happens to be in Hawaii, that is still rough. Once again, this is the second straight year. Ben and I did not put him up to this. We did not encourage him to do this. I just feel like it's important to get that out there. He's choosing to wake up and join us on his vacation.
He is. He feels a responsibility. He feels a duty to the tier ones to not be gone for 10 days. And
you don't call in and just chat with us in between shots on your golf vacations.
Correct.
Why not?
But my golf vacations don't last 10 days either. At most I've taken, I think, the longest I've ever missed, think, is 3 days. Is the most I've missed. And if that was the case, if he was going for like 5 days, a weekend, and 3 days, I would say, of course, just enjoy yourself. But when you have an extended trip like this, I do feel like there is an argument to be made that that's a lot of time to be missing and leaving all your colleagues to fend for themselves without you. Have you ever? What's the worst shift you've worked time wise? Because I've worked about every shift there is in radio and television. Obviously, we do mornings. There are pros and cons.
Yeah,
never fun to get the alarm clock at 4:15 a.m. But getting up early, getting your day started, getting done with the show at 10 a.m. and still having light and day to do with what you want.
I don't know that I could do much earlier than we do now. I don't think so. I think waking up at 4 o'clock, the difference between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. is monumental at that time of night. And I just don't know that I could really function by getting up a whole lot earlier on a regular basis. I've done early morning, late radio shift, doing the night show, and then they're like, hey, by the way, we need you in the mornings as well, and you get a 6-hour turnaround. That sucks, but it wasn't regular. That was 1 or 2 random days. Closing at a restaurant back in the day and then opening the next morning always was never fun. You're tired.
How did you do that? Because for most of my TV and even radio life, I would go in to work around 3 p.m. and get off work around 11:30 p.m. And then you have that weird kind of unwind phase very late at night and figure out what's the good time.
When I was working nights, I would go to bed at 2 a.m. because we got off the air at 9 p.m., but your schedule, your day just shifts so much that, all right, we get off the air at 9 p.m. By the time I'm getting out of there, it's 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock if I had a lot of work to do. Now it's a 30-minute drive home. Okay, so now it's 10:30. I haven't had any dinner because I've been on the air since 6 p.m. I haven't had a chance to make anything, so getting a little hungry. Now that I've made dinner, now it's 11:30 or midnight. I'd like to sit down and kind of unwind, maybe watch a movie or something, and you're like, Jesus, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Which is fine, but when you go to bed at 2 a.m., which I did for many years, usually by 1:30 or something, if you want to get your 8 hours of sleep, you're sleeping until 9:30 or 10 a.m. I promise you, no matter how deserving you are of rest, you never don't feel at a certain age, you're in your 30s or 40s. If you're getting up at 10 a.m., you feel like the day has already passed you by. It's gone. You can't. You don't feel great about yourself but the alternative is, I'll get up at 7 and I'll work out. Well, then you're operating on sleep deficiency and you've only slept 5.5 hours. I've done that for many years as well. That's not that fun either. But the worst shift, and I've done the more of the, daytime shift, not as often, but I've done it, which is, it's there's almost not enough time on either end. I don't know how the 9 to 5ers always do it because I never feel like there's enough time in the morning to get anything done other than get ready for work. And then when you're done with work, you're tired. It's I don't really want to do anything else, but you still have to dinner and everything, and then it's time to go to bed and do it all over again. I don't think that's necessarily ideal either. But the worst I ever did, and fortunately this was only for like a week, but when I was doing radio a long time ago and they had like fire coverage, I had to do overnights for a few days, like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., doing like updates and then get off work in the morning. That I just had no idea. I mean, maybe if you do it consistently for a longer period of time, you develop some sort of groove and some sort of habits and patterns. But in 1 week, I could not figure it out. I was just a mess. Like, how do you go to work at 9:30 p.m., work, and then get off at 6 a.m.? Do you sleep after? Do you sleep before? You get up? I could not figure it out, what the best way to do that overnight shift was.
I had my best friend in high school, or in college, worked at In-N-Out, and he did the overnight like cleaning shift for In-N-Out.
So yeah, In-N-Out doesn't usually close until like 1 or 1:30.
Yep.
Pretty late, right?
They closed late at the time.
And then they close and clean like for the next couple of hours, late at night.
It was a full, like, his shift, it was like he would leave the house at like 10 p.m., I want to say, 9 or 10 p.m., and then he was getting back at like 7 or 8 in the morning. And he did that every day for like a year, and he wasn't in school. He made really good money. Like, they paid well. Like, In-N-Out, obviously, a lot of people know they take care of their employees. It was compensated well at 20 years old or whatever we were. But he would go to bed like the second he got home at like 8 or 9 in the morning. He just slept all day. And there were days where we're like, hey, class got canceled. We're all going down to the beach. You want to come down and go down with us for lunch? And he's like, yeah, that sounds really fun. I haven't done anything fun in a while, but if I do that, I'm basically pulling an all-dayer, is what we called it. Like, he pulled an all-dayer by, skipping that sleep to go to the beach or whatever it was that we were doing. He would have to just choose, like, all right, I'm choosing not to sleep now. And it was awful. I don't know how anybody could do that for much longer than he did.
And I know we've got tier ones with all kinds of different shifts. Kayla says she used to open at Starbucks, 3:30 a.m. Carrie says worked at Vaughn's, shift 3:30 a.m. to 12:30. She says that was the worst shift. That's got to be a tough one too. Yeah, you get up like at 2 a.m. I know the morning like news anchors, Jared and Melissa at Channel 10, because they go on the air. I think at one point they were starting at 4:30 a.m. and you got to be TV ready. You got to be TV ready by then. So that's definitely at least 2.5 hours of prep. So you're getting up like 1:30 to 2 a.m. That's a really tough shift. I did that for a couple of weeks long ago as well. I know there's no perfect ideal. Why do we all have to work, right? It's just like, hey, let's just be on vacation.
I think about it like when we have local news on in the mornings here, whether any of the channels, and you see these people that you recognize, or maybe them working in the industry here, like we have for a while, and I see the females in particular, and I go, you guys had to get up so early for all that makeup. You got to be camera ready. I'm like, if they have to travel, if it's a commute to get into work, I'm like, that's a 1 o'clock wake up for these morning television anchors. Brutal.
All right, coming up here on the second half of Ben and Woods, 9 o'clock hour, of course, we'll have our Rhino Report, our MLB Reach Around, and we're giving away some Guns N' Roses tickets as well, so stay tuned for your opportunity to win concert tickets September 2nd at Snapdragon Stadium. Guns N' Roses is coming to town. I also want to talk about that trade that went down over the weekend in Major League Baseball. It's pretty interesting between the Boston Red Sox and the Washington Nationals. You don't see trades like this very often because I wasn't even sure when I saw the news, like who's the buyer and who's the seller on this trade. So the Red Sox traded Connolly Early, who is one of their young up-and-coming starting pitchers, left-hander, has been throwing pretty well, to the Washington Nationals, who desperately need pitching, but they had to give up a very promising young bat, an infielder, Curtis Mead, who went to the Boston Red Sox. And it's truly one of those, like, we have one set of needs, you have another set of needs, and maybe this is a trade that is going to help both teams going forward. I was surprised that the Boston Red Sox would give up pitching. Considering they're currently holding a playoff spot right now, it's like, man, that is such a risky thing to do. Of course, the new Washington Nationals general manager came from the Boston Red Sox organization, so he's probably got his favorites. Connolly Early seems like he was clearly one of those guys that he targeted. They do have some young infield prospects that they can turn to try to replace Curtis Mead, who is kind of a late breaker on the scene here.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't believe in him 100%, but then you wonder, well, if the Nationals don't believe in him, why am I trading
You're the
for him if
Boston
I'm the
Red
Boston
Sox.
Red Sox?
Right.
I thought it was one of the more interesting trades. It wasn't a true deadline deal, other than it came a week before the deadline essentially, but that was one that you could have seen earlier in the season in May or June, anytime
We were
in the
texting about it.
offseason, whenever.
Didn't Woodsy say that's so weird because he's like the Red Sox, they need left-handed pitching. Why are they giving
Everybody
up
needs left-handed pitching.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And they're in playoff contention. That almost felt more like an off-season trade, honestly.
Yeah.
That's okay, now we can go out and sign another pitcher and do this and that. To do that a week before the trade deadline and make that big switch, changing your needs, changing everything. I don't know. They must both have plans and, secondary options that they're going to think that can work for them. But I thought it was one of the more interesting moves. Yeah, as B. Wilson says, Curtis Mead was DFA'd by the White Sox at the end of spring training and then became an 800 OPS starter for the Washington Nationals. Do the Red Sox really believe that much in one half season of Curtis Mead that they're willing to give up young left-handed pitching for that?
I'm curious if the Padres could have had any sort of proposal that would have been comparable to that. Who, you just said every team is looking for controllable left-handed starting pitching, but who more than the Padres need controllable and left-handed starting pitching?
Lewis says allegedly earlier a bit of an arm problem. It means pull rate in the air should play well at Fenway Park. Well, if you're the Nationals and there's a hint of an arm problem, why are you acquiring a pitcher with an arm? I mean, it was just one of the stranger trades that I've seen early. So we will talk about that. But when we come back, let's play our first game of the week. Since there's no Woods here today, we're going to play Real or Fake, a little special Monday edition, but the prize is the same. You can qualify for the grand prize trip to Las Vegas, the Fountain Blue, and the $150 food and beverage credit. So if someone wants to get on the line and play, now is the time to call 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Real or Fake coming up next. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. It's Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. First, though, let me tell you about SDFatLoss.com. It's the program I use to lose 40 pounds in 60 days. I did that over 3 years ago, and I have kept the weight off because I truly believe that it is the best sustainable option out there for weight loss. Because it helps reset your metabolism. It's based on real foods, not GLP-1 injections, which you're going to have to keep taking for years and years. I did not want to go down that road of weekly injections for potentially many years at a cost of $3,000 to $5,000 a year. I said, I can do this. I can do this for 2 months because it's based on food that I already like and already eat. And that turned out to be the case for me. I lost weight fast, up to a pound of fat per day, 10 to 20% of my body weight in just 60 days. I got great support from my SDFatLoss.com coach, my counselor. You can get the same. Just set up a free consultation by going to SDFatLoss.com. And if you sign up for the program, take $200 off. Be done with your weight loss. Supercharge your metabolism, keep the weight off going forward. Get all those benefits right now by signing up at SDFatLoss.com. That's SDFatLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
This hour, 97.3 The Fan, is brought to you by GL Pools, the swimming pool experts trusted by thousands of San Diegans for 20 years. The baseball season is in full swing. So is swim season. Make sure your pool is ready. Call now, Mention Radio for 20% off new service plans in 2026. Padres' first day off since the All-Star break after 10 in a row, going 5-5 on their road trip to... let's see, where did they go? They started in Kansas City, then they went to Atlanta, and then Miami. So hot, and hot all throughout.
Saw a lot of Padres fans on the Miami trip in particular.
Yeah, saw a lot of fans. It wasn't bad crowds at Lone Depot Park over the weekend, like 20,000 plus. I mean, you see that place empty a lot of the time.
It looked pretty empty. It didn't look like 20,000
still looks kind of empty, but they were at least reporting like 20,000. So you fly back last night, get back to San Diego. It's like, oh, I need the cool weather. And you basically get Miami here in San Diego, unfortunately, with all the heat and humidity that we've had. So that's kind of a bummer after you've been on the road for 10 days, not to come back to cool ocean breezes and instead some of the hottest and muggiest weather we've had in a long time. But it'll change. Just be patient. We'll get to it. We will also get to more Padres talk this hour. I'm curious to hear where everybody stands now with the Padres at 553-53, 1 week ahead of the trade deadline. Right now, though, let's get to today's game. We're going to start the week off with a little real or fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
Our contestant Daniel can qualify for a grand prize drawing at the end of the month, a two-night stay at the Fontainebleau Las Vegas, and a $150 food and beverage credit. The Oasis pool deck at the Fontainebleau is open. 6-acre elevated pool experience with 6 distinct pools and live beach. You can visit FontainebleauLasVegas.com to book your stay today. Daniel, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
All right, well, that's great. You'll be doing even better if you can get 4 out of 7 right. That's all you need to qualify for our grand prize in Real or Fake. And we're going to do Comic-Con again since it wrapped up yesterday. And I've got another fun Real or Fake category from Tier 1 Dexter sent in a bunch of suggestions. I'm going to use this one. I don't think this one is too hard, but I guess it depends on whether you've seen the movies or not, because Top Gun is the category today in real or fake. I have a list of call signs used for characters in both Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. You're going to need to tell me whether it's from the original movie. So if I said Goose...
Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick.
Yes, Top Gun or Top Gun
and.
Maverick, not both. Like, obviously, Maverick's in both of them. But if I said Goose, I'd say Top Gun. If I said Rooster, it would be Top Gun Maverick.
Okay, I got you.
Got it, Daniel? You understand?
Well, so I have to say
which of the original
one of the movies?
Yeah,
original or sequel?
I'll give you a call sign. You have to tell me if it's the original or the sequel. All right?
Gotcha.
Have you seen the
You're
movies?
not making up fake names.
They're not fake. They're all real. They're just from one movie or the other. So give me either original Top Gun or sequel Top Gun Maverick. Got it?
Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
All right, let's go. Here we go. Round number 1. Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick? Phoenix.
Oh, wait, we don't have to do that.
You don't need to call. It's fine. Phoenix.
Is, Maverick.
That is correct. That is 1 for 1. Phoenix, one of the call signs in Maverick. All right, here we go. Round number 2. Warlock. Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick?
Oh, geez. I'll say Maverick.
That is correct. You're 2 for 2. You're halfway to a victory. All right, let's go round number 3. Wolfman. Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick?
Oh, there's Iceman is in the original Top Gun. So Wolfman, they can't possibly have two mans in the first one. So I'll say Maverick.
Nope, that one's in the original. Wolfman. Remember, he howls? Woo! Yeah, okay. So that's all right. You still have plenty of categories left. We got 4 to go. All right, round number 4. Sundown. Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick, Dan?
Good Lord. Maverick.
Well, that one's from the original as well. All right, we've hit a bit of a stall. We're still got 3 left, though. You need to get 2 of the last 3 correct, though, to qualify for the grand prize. All right, round number 5. Cyclone. Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick?
I hate this game.
You were doing so well early.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, right. Top Gun.
No, that one's from Maverick. Oh, no. Now we need to get the last 2 right. We're getting on a bit of a losing streak here. All right, Daniel, you've got this. Round number 6. Payback. Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick? Payback.
Top Gun.
Oh, no. What a turnaround. I'm sorry, Daniel. You have been eliminated in today's game. Thank you for playing. Appreciate it. The last one was going to be Hammer, and that was also Top Gun Maverick. There were just more call signs in Maverick. You had a lot more candidates, I think. Yeah, I didn't do any of the obvious ones like Iceman.
Yeah, you didn't want to do Iceman, Maverick, or Goose.
Cougar.
Slider.
Cougar, Slider.
Slider would have been a good one.
You stink.
Slider, you stink.
Jester.
But if you haven't seen the movie, maybe
Jester's dead.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
Yep. Tom Skerritt was Viper in the first one as well.
Viper.
He was the
Hollywood,
yeah. There were some good ones, but unfortunately, we do not have a winner today in Real or Fake. Really, in terms of sequels, though, gotta say.
One of the best.
One of the best sequels around.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never had a problem with the sequels that just are a little nostalgia. Just see the characters again. I know the movie's not going to be anywhere near what the original was. Right. I just like to see, hey, catch up on the characters. It's like old friends that you haven't seen in years, and you can see what's going on with their lives. And
I feel like Hollywood in general is beginning to figure out and figure out how to execute the reboot or the sequel or whatever they're working on, because they have been better. Like Top Gun 2, I thought it was just a bunch of industry plants, because anywhere you looked on the internet or social media or whatever, everyone was like, greatest movie of all time. You guys have no idea. Just wait until you see it. It was so much positivity for the movie that I go, there's no way it was that good. like people are getting paid for these reviews or something. And I watch it, I go, it's one of the best number twos of a movie I've ever seen. Like, sequel.
Sequels are always kind of money grabs. It feels like you've got some.
It depends though. I always like a trilogy. I like the first and the third usually in a trilogy much more than like the second one. The second one's always the worst one to me.
Is there talk that they're doing another one, right? Top Gun, a third one?
I don't know about that.
Because that would be tough. But I think I've heard rumors that they are thinking about it. It's funny. I saw a story this weekend. The Top Gun house that's in Oceanside, the cool little beachside house. Right. It has reopened as a On's, like a gelato spot. You can go on like the On's dry cleaning and the different ones. So then you can go get ice cream now, gelato at the Top Gun house up in Oceanside.
Yeah,
a new life for it. So, I mean, they're always money grabs because hey, we got a certain amount of audience that will come see a sequel to this movie no matter what. But back in the day, that's all it felt like Caddyshack 2, whatever. Let's just capitalize on the name and make a quick buck. We don't even have to write a script, basically.
Time between 1 and 2? Caddyshack?
Oh. I don't know. It wasn't that long, was it?
I don't think it was that long.
No, they wanted to turn around those things pretty quickly. I remember growing up, though. Like, my favorite movie was Back to the Future, and I thought, this is perfect setup for a sequel. Like, they're going to the future, and then it went, 8 years or something before they finally came out with Back to the Future 2. I was probably never more excited for a movie in my life than I was Back to the Future 2. I'm going to be honest. It's not a great movie, but I was just so happy to see the characters again.
Right.
I did not care. Like, whatever 16-year-old me, when it finally came out, after
it all depends on how
me
long
had
it's
watched
been.
that movie so many times when it first came out. Like, I just wanted another movie, and then they filmed 2 of them right away. So Back to the Future 2, and then 8 months later, Back to the Future 3 came out because they had filmed both of them basically at the same time. I was through the moon excited about those sequels.
You got a lot of factors working against you, I think, in Hollywood, though, because I mean, I think about one of the funniest movies of the '90s, Dumb and Dumber, original, hilarious, everyone loved it, and they tried a couple of sequels without Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, and it's like.
That's not what you want to see.
That's a different movie entirely.
Exactly.
Nobody wants this, first of all. And then by the time they did get the 2 originals to sign up for another sequel, I was like, I don't want this. I don't even want to see Jim Carrey being Dumb and Dumber anymore.
It's not the concept. It's the characters and the actors that you really want to see again. So let's take a quick time out. I think it's time. We're going to open the phone lines. So Padres fans, we are here 1 week from the trade deadline, and I think you can make an argument either way. I'm not going to belittle you. If you say they should trade Mason Miller and get a giant haul for him, I don't think you're wrong. If you say keep Mason Miller, he should be a Padre for the long term, and they should go for it this year.
Yeah, fine by me.
I don't think you're wrong either. I just want to hear why you think it. Why do you believe what you believe? Because I ran into Padres fans on both sides of the fence this week. And just give me your reasoning. Give us a call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Dennis Little, a little under the weather, going to join us later in the week, so we'll have time to get your thoughts coming up next year with Bennett Woods. Don't go away. It's San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
He just here. I'll show you a little. Just a little.
Please don't.
Just a little bit. What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Nothing. Now,
So let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing.
Let's say
It's gonna hurt.
Right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee.
It's going to in a second.
Right here.
Oh, oh, that is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Not so fast, Braden. Just in his weekend promo just said, we'll tell you exactly where the Padres are and what they're going to do at the trade deadline. I don't think anybody knows yet because the Padres remain in limbo. What did Craig Elston call it? It was not schedule purgatory, but they're trapped by the schedule, I think he said. They're trapped by the standings.
I didn't know if he had an actual name.
They're trapped by the standings. We're taking your phone calls here. 97.3 The Fan's trade deadline coverage is presented by City Cruises Live. Experiences done different. If you want to call us, 833-288-0973. And again, I will abide arguments on both sides right now. I think there are thoughtful reasonings behind both sell, trade, buy and sell, hold. I think you can make all the cases
You're
right
saying
now.
no wrong answers.
I don't think there's any wrong answer. I mean, there's got to be some wrong answers out there.
I can think of a few wrong
Give
answers.
Mason Miller away for nothing is the wrong answer. But trade Mason Miller for a haul or keep Mason Miller, I think they're both potentially correct answers. Before we get out to the phone, CJ, you're going to be up first. I do want to address Jabs, who wrote in our YouTube stream. That was the dumbest real or fake. Wasn't even a real or fake game. Also, you said more call signs in Maverick and then proceeded to list call signs after call signs from Top Gun. Dumb. Where is Woodsy? All right, let me address a couple of things there.
You're in trouble now. You're going to get it now, Jabs.
I think Jabs is right. That was kind of one of my dumber games of real or fake, and it wasn't a true game. There wasn't real. There wasn't fake. They were all real. And where is Woodsy? He doesn't have anything to do with the real or fake, but otherwise, I think you nailed it, Jabs. I phoned it in. I'm sorry. I didn't know that we weren't going to be able to play
We forgot
today.
until yesterday.
I didn't know John wasn't going to be here. I thought we were going to play a little take on John, perhaps, but he was on vacation, so I just had to go kind of last minute with a little real or fake, and So I apologize for not living up to my own lofty standards of San Diego's favorite morning game show, Real or Fake. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. 833-288-0973. We'll start with CJ. CJ, thanks for calling us this morning for some rare phone conversations on Ben and Woods. Hello.
Well, good morning to you, gentlemen. I will say this. I'm on team buy and sell. I'm not selling Miller because he's still young. He's the best pitcher in baseball. I know a closer only helps you if you're a winning team, but you're only 2 games out. And if you got the shot with an aging Machado and others on these contracts, I think you got to keep him because he is your best pitcher on the staff. Everybody else, including King, I am willing to trade, and I am also going to do something because like a good Palooza that will make your head spin, that if the Padres, you wake up on August 3rd and find out that C.J. Abrams is wearing pinstripes again in the brown and gold, that would be something that would turn people's heads and would allow the new ownership to have something to talk about.
All right, CJ, buy and sell, which again, I think is...
He even had examples.
He had some examples. I don't see how you can trade Michael King and still say you're trying to make the playoffs, though.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely can see a sell scenario maybe with Adrian Morejon and then buy in other areas because Adrian Morejon is going to be a free agent.
I'm almost going to be disappointed. I think I've talked myself into it where I think I'll be disappointed if they don't trade Morejon. I love him. He is just filthy, disgustingly good at what he does. But I just don't know that the season hinges on whether or not he's here for the next 2 months. And I don't think the Padres are going to re-sign him. Even if they do trade him and they wanted to re-sign him, they'll have an opportunity in free agency. I think you can get quite a few pieces back that you would really have to think about moving him.
The Padres are a better team with Adrian Morejon.
Of course.
He's nasty.
Of course.
But relievers are fickle. I mean, we saw it earlier in the season. He wasn't bad, but he gave up a bunch of runs and lost a couple of games early and an ERA over 5. That could happen to Mason Miller over a month. You just never know. It's unlikely because he's so good, but relievers are kind of fickle. So if you traded him, it doesn't necessarily mean you're getting worse. He may not have come up in the situation that's critical in certain moments. If you trade Michael King, I think you're already you've so thinned out your starting pitching, and you're already operating under this. All right, let's see if we can get 2 1/3 from this guy, and 3 from this guy. If you trade Michael,
you're waving the white flag
King,
for this season.
Where are you getting the innings for the rest of the season? Even if Joe Musgrove and Nick Pivetta do come back, you still are going to have 3 or 4 weeks to get there. And if you lose more starting pitching, is Lucas Giolito about to come back and throw like a Cy Young Award winner again?
I highly doubt that.
If he did, that would be fantastic. But I just don't know how you survive without Michael King over the next 3 weeks. But that is also potentially an argument to sell, Paulie, because if you're that thin and one injury to Michael King is anybody, and you have no one to call up, then what are you really going for? You're gambling a lot on a very dicey proposition.
Which is, that's why the Padres were a week ago at 7% or whatever to make the playoffs, and now they're like 12 or 13% chances of making the playoffs. I think you have to ask yourself, it's not that this team can't go on a run and make a playoff spot. I don't know that anybody's doubting that this team could squeak into the wild card. They're only 2 games out. It's what happens then. Let's play that forward. Do you think this team is going to be able to beat the Dodgers? I don't know that I do. Do you know that they're going to beat the Braves, the Phillies, the Cubs, the Brewers in a series? I don't know. So are you going to risk, how much of your future are you willing to sell off and get rid of for this team that, they don't have the signs that they're going to go on a run in the postseason? I do believe,
Paulie, that anything can happen in the playoffs. I believe that teams that aren't that good can go on runs in the playoffs. It doesn't take that much. If you're hot, if your hitters are hot.
It takes a lot to go on a run in the playoffs. What are you talking about?
No, I mean, it takes great play, but any team, even a fairly mediocre team, can play great for 3 weeks. They can. So it can happen. Is it likely to happen? Do I think they're going to beat the Dodgers? I don't. Dodgers are deeper. Other teams, the Braves, I think they could beat the Braves in a short series. I think they could even beat the Cubs in a short series. Let's keep going with the phones here. Oh, the C.J. Abrams, I don't see him coming back to the Padres. I don't see the Nationals trading him.
That would be interesting.
To me, the Nationals, they just acquired Connolly early. I think they're more likely to try to go for a playoff spot rather than trade C.J. Abrams. They still have, I think, 2 years of control. They could always trade him in the offseason if it doesn't work out. I don't think you're going to get that much less in the offseason, so I don't think C.J. Abrams gets traded. Let's go to Nate in San Marcos. You're next up, 833-288-0973. Hello, Nate.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I would love, like I told Braden, I'd love to have AJ go back and get Luis Ariz. He was our lucky rabbit's foot, and I believe that he's a little piece that we need. And then I would trade Vasquez for like some new training equipment or something like that. He needs to go somewhere.
Brady Vasquez?
He's our unlucky rabbit. Rabbit. But and that's about it. I wouldn't make any major deals.
All right, Nate. So more of a hold, but see if you can pick up a little more offense. I think the Padres already have a Luis who is a lucky rabbit's foot that plays infield and has been hitting really well lately. What about Luis Rengifo, Paulie?
He's been unbelievable since he got here.
That's another thing that I don't think you can count on going forward. But how much of this, offensive turnaround is just the depth of the lineup of adding Luis Rengifo, who has gotten, 13 hits in like his first 8 starts with the Padres? He's been incredible, including a tie-breaking 2-run home run over the weekend for the Padres on Friday. He has been amazing. That's a bit lucky to, pick up Luis Rengifo and have him get red hot when you call him up to the San Diego Padres.
You know what's interesting? I'm not surprised. It's just interesting. I haven't seen one ounce of sentiment towards Steven Souza Jr. that's been positive, because when the team was playing horribly earlier in the year, and the offense in particular was dead last in everything, all you could hear was fire Stammen or fire Souza. These guys don't know what they're doing. Now they've turned it around a little bit. Nobody's talking about anything that's being done by the coaching staff.
And then if Luis Ariz, where are you playing him? His numbers have been really good defensively at second base this year after working
Who do you trade
with
for
Ron
Luis
Washington.
Ariz,
But Jake Cronenworth, since coming off the injured list, and Too Much Morton's had this stat, 129 WRC plus, 308 average, 379 OBP, 423 slug. Jake Cronenworth has been playing at a very high level the last 4 weeks since coming back healthy-ish from the IL from where he was earlier in the season. So are you bumping Jake to first base now? What are you doing? You got Ty France has been red hot. You can't really bump him. I don't think you have a spot to bring back Luis Ariz in the lineup right now.
Can you compete? Ty France is another guy I wanted to bring up. Can you buy and sell? Is Ty France a guy that you move and still tell your fan base, you know what I mean? Hey, we're still in this. We just, look, he's an expiring contract. This was an offer we couldn't refuse, essentially. Do you think you can move Ty France and still contend?
That's what smart teams generally do. A guy who has had, so-so numbers the last few years, has a big first half, and you can get something for him, and he's about to be a free agent. Smart teams do make that move. Does it hurt? Do we all like Ty France? Does he want to be here? Yes, yes, yes. I mean, he could easily go cold for the last couple of months of the season. You keep him, he goes into a slump, and you go, why didn't we trade him? We were getting some offers.
There's no reason they can't re-sign him in the offseason.
Absolutely. He wants to be here. You have an opportunity to re-sign him if you really wanted to in the offseason. So, yeah, you have to listen to offers for Ty France. And if you do that, then maybe you move Jake to first and you could consider picking up someone like Luis Ariz. I don't know. This is the buy-sell model that is so confusing to try to wrap your head around that. Can you do both? Can you restock the farm system a little bit, but also get better on the big league level at the same time? That is a tricky tightrope to walk. At the trade
it really
deadline.
is. I don't envy the position AJ's in whatsoever.
Let's get one more in here. We got David. David, are you there? Welcome to 97.3 The Fan. Good morning.
Thanks, morning. Good morning. Is that me?
That's you.
That's you.
You're on the air.
Hey, what's up? Hello. Good morning. Just real quick. Message to AJ Preller. If you're hearing this by chance, just hold. I mean, that's really all there is. I don't think there's anybody available in the market that we could possibly trade for that'll get us past the wild card. And it's not like being a doomer. It's not being like negative. It's just the reality of like what this team has this year. We just had bad luck with injuries. I mean, I don't think anybody that we could trade to get someone in the starting rotation is going to really increase our chances. If we make the playoffs, great. I'm just kind of not defeated, but it just kind of is what it is. Go again next year. I mean, all our big money pieces that we would like to move, no one's going to take anyways. Someone like Bogey, we're not going to be able to move him. But it just is what it is. Hopefully when Pivetta comes back, that gets us a couple more wins that could kind of take us over the hill. But I don't see us beating like the Dodgers, the Brewers, anybody. I don't see us making the World Series this year. So there's no point in like making this team worse and going all in,
David, did you say hold or fold?
Hold for sure.
Hold, yeah, with an H.
But if you don't think that the team just this team doesn't have it sounds like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like you're saying you don't know that this team necessarily has it and they're not going to advance past a wild card. So if you truly feel that, like, wouldn't you want to move guys like Morihone or Michael King or Ty France to get like
Paulie,
some?
And David, thanks for the call. But what about what Craig said earlier? If you do that, where do you go forward? And what do you tell guys in the offseason like Jake Cronenworth, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Manny Machado? Like, you guys were playing well. You were
should have played well more than the first half of the season.
At the break.
You guys were the worst team in baseball for 3 months.
Do you lose?
That's what I would say to them.
Sure, but you asked them to show something over the last couple of weeks. If they show it this week, and then
we have to wait and see what happens.
Pull the rug out from under them.
They go 6-0 or whatever it is. How many games they had this week? 6-0. Yeah, that's
I mean, you have to keep showing it this week.
Right.
Again, part of this discussion is still premature because we don't know what they're going to do this week. But if they keep showing it this week and they go like 5-1. It's going to be, I think, impossible to pull the rug out from under your current San Diego Padres and say, we're still trading away 3 key members of this team, including Mason Miller.
Yeah.
And if they go 1-5, it's very easy to capitalize on what could be some really good deals that are to be made at the trade deadline. But you know what's going to happen? They're going to go 4-2 or 3-3. And we're going to still be in that no man's land next Monday.
I do agree with the caller in that. I don't know that there's enough out there on the trade block that's going to really like change the trajectory of this team.
I don't want to rent Freddie Peralta for 2 months.
No.
30-year-old who just said after he won yesterday for the Mets, he beat the Dodgers, but he said, I did not do enough for the Mets. It's partly my fault that we're having this miserable season. And he's one of the best pitching rentals available on the market. A guy with a 5 ERA who was part of a disastrous Mets team this year. And he's someone that someone is going to overpay for to rent. I don't want it to be the Padres who overpay for a rental like Freddie Peralta. That is not going to get me super excited. As Craig said, how many more wins does that add the rest of the season? 1, maybe 2?
Right. My point is that's part of the equation as well. Like, yeah, you can say, like, hey, we challenged this team to show us something, and they did. But if the market's just not there, if there's nobody out there to help you, then what are we talking about?
Ben Woods brought to you by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Phone calls still coming in, but we also have Reindl Report headlines coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final hour of Ben and Woods on a Monday. Woods will be back tomorrow, joining us live from Hawaii. But good job by the Tier 1s in that last segment. Some decent phone calls on the Padres trade deadline. That was instead of our weekly guest, Dennis Lin, who's under the weather. Our Linsider should join us tomorrow or Wednesday when he's feeling better. And we'll get updated on the 10-game road trip and previewing the series against the Colorado Rockies. All guests on Ben and Woods up here on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It is better. Before we do anything else, continue to see reporting on the breaking news from Friday's show, Paulie. LeBron James signing with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah.
Signed the deal over the weekend, just a 2-year, like $8 million deal. But the reporting this morning, and I saw this over the weekend as well, is that LeBron is planning to live in New York City despite playing for the Philadelphia 76ers. It is apparently just about a 45-minute
I already know what you're going to ask.
helicopter ride
I already
from
know what you're going to ask.
New York City to Philadelphia. So assume, he's got probably a helicopter pad on the top of the building where he's going to live in New York.
Yeah.
Going to fly in, land somewhere next to the arena there in Philadelphia, and just play his home games.
I missed that. That's absurd. That's crazy.
Is that absurd?
That's a little much.
I mean, we went to Philly. It's not bad. It's not a bad place to live.
No.
But with a guy like LeBron and all of his media interests and everything, I do imagine that he's got way more stuff going on in New York City than he would in Philadelphia. Are 76ers fans or fans in Philly going to be okay with their star player living in a rival city and just commuting to their games?
How much planning is going to have to be done with potential storms in the winter too? Because the NBA season is from November through May and June. So what if there's a snowstorm? The helicopter can't land or something.
He's got to get on one of the Acela trains and
He's
it's just with a bunch of people going to the game. Yeah, I'm LeBron. I'm just coming from New York to Philly for the game tonight.
I thought you were going to ask, how does that make you feel if you're a Philly sports fan that he won't live in your city? I mean, what if the Padres could get Shohei Ohtani, but he's like, hey, I'm going to live in L.A. L.A. is amazing. I love L.A., so I'm just going to helicopter in. But don't worry, how does that work? I really thought that's what you were going to ask.
We loved Skip Schumacher, coach of the Padres. He drove in from Orange County every day.
That doesn't count.
Gave him just time to listen to more Ben and Woods on his drive down to Petco Park when he was one of the coaches.
True.
Maybe LeBron just likes to have that extra time. A lot of people in the chat pointing out that helicopters and star basketball players is a little dicey, but I mean that's any helicopter, and I don't think you can make a connection there.
You're a monster.
I'm okay with it. I mean, if you're Philly, you're just happy you got LeBron. You don't care where he actually sets down roots.
I was curious why the 2 years, $8 million, was that him just opting in for that? He's like, nah, just take the vet minimum or something, because he's still worth $50 million a year.
Right. Did you say it a lot on Friday? I think that they make that back in jersey sales on day one. They already have
by now,
made it back.
guaranteed.
Probably by now they've sold enough 76ers LeBron James jersey to pay for his entire contract for 2 years.
I don't know. I didn't see how that played out. He wants them to have the most money available for the team. He's like, I'm good.
Well, they didn't.
Essentially,
they didn't have the money to sign him under the salary cap. So if they wanted to sign him, that's all they could offer him. He wanted to go to that team. I heard, people just up in arms going, LeBron chasing rings again. What team do you want him to go to? Do you want him to go play for the Utah Jazz for a year? Obviously, he's going to go to a team that's going to be relevant and have a chance in the playoffs. That was never probably, the worst team he was going to go to was probably going to be the Golden State Warriors.
What kind of
still would have been a contender with him?
Was he supposed to go to the Wizards? What kind of legend would end their career with the Wizards?
The dumbest thing I heard was that this year will make or break LeBron's legacy. If he wins one more ring, that will make him the greatest of all time. This year has nothing to do with LeBron's legacy. Good, bad, indifferent. You don't create legacies when you're over 40 years old. Your legacy has already been created. If you don't think LeBron is already the GOAT, you're not going to think it this year if he wins with the 76ers. If you already think he's the GOAT, if the 76ers flame out, you're not going to hold it against him going, well, I guess he wasn't that good after all, because his 40-year-old body, 41, couldn't lift the 76ers to a title. That's the dumbest idea ever, that there's really anything riding on this season for LeBron James. I mean, he went to a team. He thinks he can compete. He can be relevant. He can have fun at the end of the season, and that is that. All right, enough basketball talk. Let's get to our Rindle Report headlines.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hey guys, it's Paul here.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report.
Hey Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right. All right,
Paulie doing extra work today.
I know,
co-hosting, producing, Rindle reporting.
It's been like 3 hours of half of Rindle Report.
Exactly.
All right, let's get started here. Really no easy way to get into this, but an update to a really just awful story, how this is turning out to be. During Don't Do This, we told you about the breaking news from earlier that Eric Bieniemy's wife, Mia, was shot at their home in Virginia and sent to the hospital. And we didn't have any details other than we knew Eric Bieniemy was with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's the offensive coordinator. And within the last hour, Adam Schefter and others have reported that Elijah Bieniemy, the 27-year-old son, has been arrested and charged with malicious wounding, use of a firearm in commission of a felony, and discharge of a firearm inside of a dwelling. He is being held without bond for shooting his mother reportedly multiple times. We were talking about it during the break. I said to Ben, how dark do things have to get before you could shoot your mother?
Awful.
And this kind of stuff unfortunately happens every day. And I'm just like, what happened?
I mean, you don't know what, mental illness or whatever's going on here, but, clearly this is a story that will impact the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, can Eric Bieniemy, even dealing with this, stay on as offensive coordinator? They're going to have to replace him as coach on their roster. Don't know. That's obviously not the most important thing right now, and hopefully, she's able to recover, but what a just awful story this weekend.
Yeah, we left training camp, not in attendance for today, and we're just going to have to wait and see. I don't have any, current status of her, how she's doing or anything like that. I believe earlier we saw that it was serious, but I didn't see any of the words like life-threatening or critical. But, I guess we'll keep you up to speed on that as that story develops over the next days and weeks, but very sad and just horrible stuff for the Bieniemy family. We will move on in Major League Baseball. I know we got the MLB reach around, but we also had the MLB Hall of Fame weekend. I had people texting me all weekend going, why the hell are the Padres wearing these 98 hats?
Oh, yeah. People were... I saw the wildest theories about these hats that the Padres were wearing.
I don't know. It's pretty clear to me that it's Hall of Fame weekend. Every team is wearing their, one of their Hall of Fame hats or hats that are associated with Hall of Famers that played on their team. Padres chose the 98s. What are we talking about?
Well, if those were the rules, Padres clearly don't have any current Hall of Famers that could wear the brown hats, right? I mean, I guess you could go way back to the Dave Winfield days and wear one of those hats,
but not
possibly.
Not the current era.
It did not look good together.
No,
with the jerseys
they should
the
have
Padres were
maybe
wearing.
Said make the teams do the whole uniforms.
Maybe I don't know, but it wasn't. I saw people going the Padres were too cheap to do the whole uniforms. No, I mean every team was just wearing the hats. The Marlins hats didn't go with their City Connect uniforms either.
Yeah, they're old school 90s aqua whatever hats.
Yeah, if you want to criticize Major League Baseball for making teams wear hats that don't match, but they do it all year long. There's pink Mother's Day's hats. There's all kinds of hats that don't match the jerseys of the teams.
Yeah.
It's just something they do. You can not like it, that's fine, but
They were kind of in a tough spot because the two most notable Hall of Famers are obviously Tony and Trevor, the 98 colors. I get it. But the Nate Colbert, Dave Winfield, Randy Jones era, that brown and gold would be different and still work with the current brown uniforms, but I don't know, whatever. Also, though, in Major League Baseball, it was Hall of Fame weekend, and I gotta say, I didn't catch any of the induction ceremony.
Neither did I. I usually watch a little bit of it on Sunday mornings.
I'll usually catch like a recap, a clip going around, like, oh, so-and-so told this amazing story of their high school baseball coach and what he meant to him or something like that. I don't really have the energy to just sit there for a couple of hours and watch the speeches, but I gotta say, man, it's kind of rain on their parade sort of take here. But Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran, and Jeff Kent, I think, is the most lackluster Hall of Fame class in a long time. Andrew Jones, I think, is probably a Hall of Famer. I can't really say much else about him. Like, he was good. He was a really good player. Like, I enjoyed watching him play. Carlos Beltran, I don't know that he's a Hall of Famer even without all this stuff with the Astros off the field that he was responsible for. And I just don't know that I ever thought Jeff Kent was a Hall of Famer, but he is now.
It's not an outrage that any of the three are in the Hall of Fame, although I can make an argument, and I have made arguments against Jeff Kent. He gets a lot of credit for all the production as a second baseman, but he wasn't really a very good second baseman. So if you just put him over at first instead, you'd go, yeah, I mean, good, Hall of very, very good, but not Hall of Fame. But because they put him at second base, now you're a Hall of Famer. I don't totally get that.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you about Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones. Yeah, I think Andrew Jones is a Hall of Famer. He had a lot of lousy years at the end of his career, like lousy year after lousy year.
One of those three, I would pick Andrew Jones.
I do feel like if Andrew Jones had retired like 7 years earlier, he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Just stuck around a little too long, and just like those numbers started just getting dragged down. So, that's a word to the wise, like maybe don't stretch it too far. But as a whole, yeah, it was one of the least inspiring and interesting Hall of Fame classes that we've had in a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
get through it, get over it, and move on to another one in the future.
We're like Jeff Kent fans even. Like, did you guys remember that it was this weekend? I don't know. I just didn't see a whole lot going on for it, but that was going on. I saw way more comments about the uniforms and the hats than the actual Hall of Famers going in on Hall of Fame weekend, but whatever. Finally, we will wrap it up here with just a little PSA, a little life lesson. More and more people are continuing to use artificial intelligence, websites like ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever, to help you with your day-to-day activities and more. And I there's part of it I totally understand, how you can expedite productivity in your day. Just remember, though, if you're going to use ChatGPT or Gemini or any other AI, you do have to do a little bit of proofreading still, especially if you're giving a speech. Like this politician in Canada was giving a speech recently. This is Bill Oliver, and he is a legislator in New Brunswick, Canada, and he delivered a speech, but he forgot to remove the prompts from ChatGPT after he asked, write me a speech about blank.
One of the dangers associated with creating advocacy offices is that citizens often develop expectations that exceed the powers actually granted to those offices. Here's a more natural flowing version of that section that reads like a legislative speech rather than a series of short points.
What's that?
Madam Speaker, one of my concerns with this legislation is the potential gap between what New Brunswickers may reasonably expect this office to accomplish and...
So you heard the prompt there. He goes, here's another way of, you can do it. He did not skip a beat, as you heard.
Yeah, he didn't even catch himself like, this sounds wrong. He just
because he didn't even realize it. He was literally Ron Burgundying it. He went through. Nobody brought it up. Nobody mentioned it. It wasn't until people on the internet started catching, like, wait, what was that? And it became the snowballed from there. The local media.
Play it again for me, just so we can.
Now
hear
that you know, now you're expecting
what you're listening for here.
One of the dangers associated with creating advocacy offices is that citizens often develop expectations that exceed the powers actually granted to those offices. Here's a more natural flowing version of that section that reads like a legislative speech rather than a series of short points. Madam Speaker, one of my concerns with this legislation is the potential gap Between what?
So yeah, we've all Googled or AI'd something, and it will give you one version, and then it said, and here's a different way of saying this, or here's a modified version of it. And he did not even catch that he was just reading the AI instructions.
That's a guy running for public office in Canada.
I think that he may not understand that much about advocacy offices. I don't either. I have no idea what an advocacy office is. Maybe it's a Canadian thing.
Yeah, you probably have to use Chat GPT to help you out with that. But yeah, that's just a little lesson for everybody.
Oh, man. Well, if I was his college professor, that's getting an F. That paper that he turned in is definitely not getting credit. Totally AI. Nice work, Paulie. Thank you very much. When we come back, it is time for our MLB Reach Around. First, though, you want to give away those tickets? Let's do it right now. We got a moment here. We've got tickets for Guns N' Roses at Snapdragon Stadium on September 2nd. Tickets are on sale right now at Ticketmaster.com. But if you're the third caller right now at 833-288-0973, you can win a pair of tickets to the show. Again, September 2nd, Guns N' Roses at Snapdragon Stadium. Call now, 833-288-0973. More Ben and Woods live from the Bill House Studios. We Know How coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open. player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too?
Congratulations to Joanne, won the tickets to Guns N' Roses coming to Snapdragon Stadium. Thank you for everybody who called in. Paulie always gets full phone lines and has to feel bad about all the people who don't get in or don't win who call, but we appreciate you taking the time to dial those numbers every single morning. People do win radio contests.
They do.
Some people never bother to try. Other people try all the time. Don't know what the success rate is out there, but I'm glad if we've got some tickets to give away, I'm glad we have the chance to do so in the mornings.
Never won anything on the radio.
You never won anything on the radio.
I think I feel like I tried a few times.
I definitely tried a few times. I
don't
don't think I ever did either.
I just would always get a busy signal. Never even got a ring or a chance to do anything. Never got to play a game on the radio to try to win something. Yeah, I never did that.
I know we talked a lot about the Padres, what they could do at the trade deadline. Our friend Katie Wu reporting on what the LA Dodgers could be doing at the trade deadline as well, with potentially doing some selling of their own. You think, well, why? Dodgers are clearly World Series contenders. Why would they be selling? She says with Blake Snell and Kike Hernandez coming off the injured list, the Dodgers could move Eric Lauer and or Alex Call, who will now be depth pieces to capitalize on the starting pitcher and right-handed hitter market. So taking major league pitching potentially. Eric Lauer has thrown pretty well for them, but they're not going to need him when, Snell comes back. And certainly if Glasnow comes back, there's no spot in the starting rotation. But, other teams Eric Lauer would fit in right in like a number 3 right now for the San Diego Padres. I don't foresee the Padres and Dodgers making a major deal here at the deadline, but that's kind of where the Dodgers' thinking are. You have so much riches in your roster that you can afford to actually trade away big league guys and still get better and restock the farm system at the same time. It's embarrassing, how much they have right now. But that's what Katie Wu is reporting this morning about the Dodgers' plans at the trade deadline. They're also looking to potentially add catching, but they do think Will Smith will be back before the playoffs, but they have obviously been going with a bit of a thin catching core with Dalton rushing, and they've brought up a couple of different guys because of the injury to Will Smith. So they may be looking for some catching on the market as well. With baseball on the mind, why don't we get to a wrap-up of the weekend and our MLB Reach Around.
They're doing the
Reach Around.
They're doing the
Reach Around.
Everybody doing the
Reach Around. All right, it's time to start with playoff picture Reach Around. As we begin our look at baseball over the weekend. And we'll begin with the team that's leading the race for the third wild card spot in the National League. That would be the Arizona Diamondbacks, who lost a series to the Washington Nationals, falling yesterday 10-7 in the rubber game of the series. C.J. Abrams and James Wood both hit 2 home runs in the game.
Of course.
I don't feel like they'd just like to stick it to A.J. Preller even more and more for that trade.
God, those guys would be great here.
They would. Remember, you would have had to suffer through a few years while they were trying to get better, and you would not have had Juan Soto. You would have not had Michael King and Randy Vasquez and Johnny Brito and Dylan Cease if you hadn't made that trade. But right now, in this very moment, yes, you'd like 2 guys who seemingly, at least one of them hits a home run almost every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes both of them hit
both seem
home
like they're
runs.
just going to be perennial all-stars.
And yesterday they both hit 2 home runs. So Washington now just a game behind the Arizona Diamondbacks in the wild card race. The Pittsburgh Pirates avoided a sweep by the Chicago Cubs with an 8-7 win. Ryan O'Hearn with a grand slam supporting Braxton Ashcraft, who won his 10th game. Ryan O'Hearn, the offense would have been appreciated here in San Diego, but
maybe if he was
Padres
used.
did not keep him. They are tied with Washington, also 1 game behind Arizona in the wild card race. The St. Louis Cardinals, though, lost in 10 innings to the Cincinnati Reds 5-3, the Reds scoring 3 times in the 10th. So they win the series. St. Louis loses the series, and they fell behind Washington and Pittsburgh just a half game ahead of the Padres in the wild card race. So Arizona, then 1 game back, you've got the Pirates and the Nationals, a game and a half back, the Cardinals, and 2 games back, your San Diego Padres for that last wild card spot in the National League. The New York Mets avoided a sweep with an 8-3 win over the Dodgers. Mentioned Freddie Peralta believes it was his last start for the New York Mets. He thinks he's going to be dealt before the deadline and before he takes the mound again for New York. Did you see what Jacob Mizorowski did yesterday? Jacob Mizorowski pitching against the Colorado Rockies, but I mean, still, the numbers that were there were insane. Struck out the first 7 batters of the game to set a Milwaukee record. Struck out 11 of the first 12 in 4 perfect innings, and then finished with 12 because they're still keeping him to a pitch count limit after he came off the injured list around the All-Star break. Brewers won 11-2, so they're saving those bullets potentially for the postseason. But
he's unreal.
He threw. I need to find the stat again. He threw more. He threw 103 mile an hour pitches in one start, like by 3 times than anyone has ever thrown in one Major League Baseball game in history. He is throwing so fast, so consistently, and when he throws it over the plate, he's almost unhittable now. Did give up a home run. I mean, I guess that's going to happen at some point, but the guy has been absolutely incredible. Now it's just a matter of keeping him healthy and on the mound.
So curious to see what his career turns into. You know what I mean? Like a guy like that, the way it's looking, he's going to be the next Nolan Ryan, or he's going to be better than Nolan Ryan. But it's like, it's so pessimistic. But anytime you look at a guy like that, I can't help but go, that arm injury's coming. Like you just know it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that extension, kind of like Mason Miller does as well. Part of it is the velocity, but part of it is how quickly it gets on you, because how far they are out when they reach.
He is
big
so
guys
fun to watch.
Who just have that huge extension. It is pretty amazing, though, which is why the Brewers feel like they have to have a chance, even against the Dodgers. I know that they got blitzed by the Dodgers last year, but when you have Jacob Mizorowski potentially going multiple times in a short series, how can you not have a chance in a series like that, right?
Certainly, I mean, a 5-game series or 7 at the very
probably
for
7
sure.
at this
probably
the
7.
way it's
You
going.
can get 2, maybe even 3 appearances.
If you're the Dodgers, you want as long of a series as possible, so you don't have to just face them twice in a 5-game series. The Braves beat the Orioles 3-2 in 11 innings. Atlanta dodged a bunch of trouble in the 9th and the 10th to seal a series win. In fact, they intentionally walked the bases loaded. They either had to open a base at second or third to create the force of the plate. Worked out for them. They got a line drive double play. A little lucky, but Braves get the win over the Orioles 3-2. The Phillies beat the Yankees on Sunday Night Baseball 11-4 to avoid getting swept. Bryson Stott hit a home run and drove in 5. But as we mentioned earlier, the Phillies are now just 2 games ahead of the Diamondbacks and 4 games ahead of the Padres. So you actually have 6 teams now that are pretty bunched up for the last 2 spots in the playoffs in the National League. The Rays blanked the Guardians 1-0. Drew Rasmussen with 7 innings of one-hit ball and 9 strikeouts as Tampa Bay completed a 3-game sweep. The Red Sox continue to win 6-1 over the Blue Jays. 8-2 homestand. They did see their 15-game winning streak come to an end last week, but still had a really good homestand to start the second half of the season as they have moved themselves into playoff position. The Royals topped the Tigers 5-4. Michael Massey hit a go-ahead 2-run home run in the 8th inning to earn a series split in a 4-gamer between those teams in the AL Central. Twins beat the A's 11-8. Minnesota is still, I think, like a game under 500, but they're just 1 game back of Cleveland right now for the final wild card spot in the American League, so they're still in it. The White Sox, who are back in first place in the NL Central, beat the Astros 12-3, getting 5 home runs, including 2 by Munetaka Murakami and 1 by Chase Meidroth, to avoid a sweep by Houston. The Mariners topped the Rangers 6-4. Seattle got to the Texas bullpen after Jacob deGrom exited the game to pull within just a game and a half of first place in the American League West behind the Rangers, and they have 1 more game in that series today. It's a wraparound series, a wraparound in our reach around. And then finally, the Angels beat the Giants 4-3. San Francisco, I think I saw this stat. I know they haven't swept a 3-game series this year, and I believe it's the longest they've ever gone in a season without 1 3-game sweep in their franchise history.
Wow.
Over like 105 or 6 games. They have not swept 1 3-game series. They had a chance to do it. Did not do it yesterday.
Have they even won? Have they won 3 games in a row?
That's a good question. They may have won the last
and then
2
the next
and
2.
then the 1 or 2 of the first, but they have not. No sweeps.
Wow.
Very Padres 2023 vibes, except they're not even as good as the 2023 Padres. They've struggled. Mike Trout had his first 4-hit game in 5 years in that game for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
You think he gets moved? I've seen a lot more commentary, at least, of the idea of like the Phillies, obviously being a team that he would probably waive his no trade to.
I think if you're the Angels, new GM, you have no problem trading Mike Trout. The question is, does he want to go? Because he has 10-5 rights, no trade. He does not have to go.
Yeah, of course.
The Phillies would be a spot that would make sense, I would think, if you're Mike Trout.
Yeah, they could sure use him.
I don't know. Mike Trout is such an enigma.
Yeah, he is.
Does he really want to be in the spotlight? He is the least. I mean, the least reported on baseball superstar of the modern era. Since we, the expansion of social media and 24/7 news coverage and all these players, you go through a fine-tooth comb, everything. What do we really know about Mike Trout? He likes to play golf in the off season.
I didn't even know that. I think
he built his own course in New Jersey. I think he does some hunting. You don't really see anything from Mike Trout. Is he happy playing? Is he secretly kind of happy just playing under the radar and putting up big numbers on his way to the Hall of Fame in Anaheim?
I'm trying to think
and
of
never
like a
really being in a big series. Like, hey, my season's over at the end of September, and I get an extra month of the offseason every year because we never make the playoffs. And I mean, tell me that you don't want that by accepting a trade to a contender.
Yeah. Literally, I'm trying to think, what will sports podcasts or radio hosts or whatever in 20 or 30 years, how will they talk about Mike Trout? Who is another player that, people from previous generations would say, no, you don't understand. This was the best player in the game
Willie
for
Mays?
10 plus years. But nobody knows, you never knew.
Everyone knew Willie Mays. There were less teams and a lot of attention, but he never won, a darn thing playing for the Cubs in his career.
Barry Bonds never won a World Series.
First ballot. At least Barry Bonds went to a World Series.
Right.
Mike Trout has barely played in a playoff game in his career, 3 or something.
Yeah.
Insane. If you're Mike Trout and you want to change that narrative, you demand a trade.
You should have demanded a trade 10 years ago.
You make it public. You demand a trade. Until I hear Mike Trout say that, all I can assume is that he is fine playing for a team that never makes the playoffs and getting an extra month of his offseason every year. And I don't know if that's fair, but I think that's what people think.
Since I've been born, 1990, Mike Trout is he's on that list of one of the absolute best baseball players to ever play the game. And yet, if this was any other player in any other sport, and you found out, we were talking about LeBron James, and their legacy, and you're like, well, he was one of the best basketball players of all time. He only played in 3 playoff games, but you would dismiss that person immediately. Why is it not the same?
Baseball's different, for sure.
It's a team sport. Yeah, totally different. I get that.
Clay says Mike Trout is to the Angels as Tony Gwynn was to the San Diego Padres. Just false. Tony Gwynn went to 2 World Series with the San Diego Padres. Now, there was a long stretch in between where people started having that conversation.
I see what he's saying there,
in
but
the 90s,
even that's
Tony,
not right.
do you need to go somewhere else to make the most out of your career? I think ultimately he was happy that he stayed for 96 and 98
You know who he
at
is?
the end of his career.
He's my favorite player of all time. He's Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
Never played in the rarely played in the playoffs, never played in the World Series.
We don't hold that against
And one
Griffey,
of the best players of his generation.
We really
and
don't.
I don't hear that.
But Griffey was, he had the swing and the smile.
He had no problem being out there.
Yeah.
And
Mike
the attention on him.
Mike Trout doesn't really have any of that.
That's why everyone is able to look back and, with reverence for some of these players. But I'm like, who's the guy that was bar none, one of the absolute best players of his entire generation, and you didn't really like him because you didn't really know anything about him because he didn't really want to be there? It's him in the spotlight. I don't know.
His Hall of Fame induction speech will be fascinating because it'll be the first time we've ever heard him say anything.
Right.
It's first ballot. Here he is. So in about 8 years, Mike Trout will finally learn something about him, hopefully, during that Hall of Fame induction speech. But right now, I think of Mike Trout as one of the greats of all time that I know nothing about and doesn't seem to really care about wanting to play for a winner.
It's interesting.
And the Angels deserve a ton of the blame for that as well, but I don't know. interesting topic.
But I mean, also, isn't that like I guess if I wanted to really critique the Angels and or Mike Trout, I'd be like, hey, Mike, if you kind of have this like attitude of, just take it easy. I'm just here to play some ball. I don't really want to, go the extra mile and be the face of the franchise or anything. Maybe everybody else has that same laissez-faire attitude, and maybe that's why you're the Angels. I don't know.
Maybe. All right, let's take one final timeout. When we come back, Padres off today, but we'll look ahead to the week that is to be for your San Diego Padres. Probably is going to determine, as we've been saying for a month now, what they're going to do at the trade deadline 1 week from today. That is all coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
No baseball tonight. Looking for something fun to do on a Monday? Why not head down to 7 Mile Casino? It's San Diego's closest card room. And when you walk in, you're going to find a place that knocked my socks off the first time I went down there. I must admit, card rooms have a reputation. Some are a little seedy, some are a little smoky. None of that at 7 Mile Casino. It's light, it's airy, it's smoke-free. It's got windows. It's got great views of San Diego Bay. It's got a beautiful patio. It's got tremendous food from Sammy's Wood-Fired Pizzas inside of 7 Mile Casino. So it's an upscale restaurant that just also happens to have a great card room attached where you can play California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em poker, Pai Gow, and Baccarat with friendly dealers, comfortable tables, TVs throughout, so you can keep an eye on all the sports that are going on, whatever's going on. Have a cocktail, have a drink. You can eat at the table. They take care of their high-limit players well, 35% off. For regular players while you are playing as well when you order food from Sammy's at 7 Mile. And it's so easy to get to. Right down the 5 freeway, right on the frontage road, alongside the freeway on the west side there. It's Bay Boulevard. You're going to get off at E. You're going to be pulling in just moments after getting off the freeway. Check it out today. It's 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
He just, oh, here, I'll show you a little. Just a little.
Please don't.
Just a little bit. What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Nothing. Now,
So let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing.
Let's say
It's going to hurt.
Right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee hurts.
It's going to in a second.
Right here.
Oh! Oh! That is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
It's an off day for your San Diego Padres today. Well deserved after a 10-game road trip. Everyone needs a day off from time to time, just like Woods is taking a day off today, although he would say it's a travel day, not a day off. But when you're traveling to vacation, it's kind of a day off.
That's kind of a day off. It's a little bit a day.
By the way, can I point out that Friday afternoon, like around 3 or 4 o'clock, I got an urgent request to shoot a video for one of our sales associates here. Didn't make a big deal out of it. I just got it done.
I didn't even know you did.
See? You didn't even know that I did it. I actually had to enlist my buddy Scott, who I was playing golf with this weekend, to help me out with said video so I could get it done in time, but didn't have to be a giant thing like Woods makes it. Oh my God, I got to do this. Just quietly got it done. And now we move on to the next thing. And the next thing for your San Diego Padres, the Colorado Rockies. Just a 2-game series starting tomorrow. You really feel like you want to win both of these games. Colorado Rockies are pretty much where they always are, dead last in the league, power rankings, whatever. Pitching categories.
Yeah, Michael King going tomorrow night.
Michael King against, let's see, tomorrow's matchup is Michael Lorenzen, whose ERA is somewhere in the 6s, I believe. And then on Wednesday, you've got Gabriel Hughes. I don't know much about him. I think he's making just his 4th or 5th start, right-hander, 24-year-old, so young guy. Does have a 2.79 ERA, so better than most Rockies pitchers. We'll see what the Padres have on him. I am worried that, at least at last check, Griffin Canning was still scheduled as the starter for your San Diego Padres. I've got to imagine, if he does start that game, that he is operating under a very short leash based on what we've seen.
We didn't just shed a ton of light on it. It kind of went and passed by very quickly when Woods went off on Griffin Canning and Matt Waldron. Was that Thursday or Friday?
Thursday. I
think it was last Thursday. Like, we kind of just let it happen and didn't really address it anymore. But he was like, I never want to see either of them pitch another inning for the San Diego Padres. And I thought about it. I kind of let that sit for like 24 hours. And I thought, I think I'm with him. Like, I don't know who else we have. But, man, like, if that wasn't the last start, like, if it happens again and Griffin Canning does start tomorrow and gets hammered again and you lose another game in which he pitched, I really don't know how much longer this can go
Matt
for.
Waldron got his job done over the weekend. It wasn't a hard job. It was protecting like a 5-run lead, and I think he gave up 1 in 2 innings. But if that's what you ask of him, he got that done. Yeah. Can Griffin Canning bounce back and get a job done? It's not 7 shutout innings, but whatever job they need of him, like 2 2/3 and 1 run. I mean, we've seen Herman Marquez do it. We've seen J.P. Sears do it. If that's all we're asking of pitchers now from the San Diego Padres, Griffin Canning, can you join the party and just give us 3 innings at some point? We'll see. We'll find out later this week, or maybe the Padres will make some sort of change, or maybe they'll make a trade between now and then. We'll find out.
I mean, Nicholas says in the chat, how do they not have a journeyman in AAA that is not more deserving? Like, I know.
They have 7 of them on the big league level already.
They're
That's
all-
the problem. They've already brought them all up.
Everybody but Michael King is essentially a journeyman.
if the Padres were healthier, they had a stable of journeymen to bring up. They have brought them all up already. And
What they
have run
don't
out.
have is the guy that's knocking on the door that you're like, you know what, maybe let's give him
I
a chance,
know.
see what we got in him.
Which I would love to have.
They're either way over the hill or they're just not
I mean,
ready.
this Tucker Musgrove, who's got, I think, the second best strikeout rate in the minor leagues, is exciting, but I don't know. I don't think he's ready yet for a big league call-up. So we'll find out. Very sportsy show today, as you know, when Woods is gone, and that's on me mostly. He will be back tomorrow. It will probably be decisively less sportsy with no Padres game tonight and Woods with travel stories galore.
We're going to be
anytime he's flying through a hurricane to get to Hawaii, that there's going to be massive stories tomorrow. So we'll probably have a different feel.
Both of us having to pick up a little extra today. Tomorrow is kind of going to be more of the kick your feet up and just wind Woodsy up and let him go.
Hopefully there are no technical difficulties and he gets all set up. You're supposed to check him later today when he arrives.
He said he'll call me around 2 or 3 today, my time.
Cool.
So.
All right. Well, since we've been so sportsy, you want to spin the topic wheel to finish things out the last few minutes here?
I would love to finish with the topic wheel. I feel like we've done this one. I feel like we're starting to get on
Repeats.
purpose.
Do you not delete
wheel? I do.
once we do a question and they just come back?
I'm just going to pick another one instead.
All right.
What is the best day of the week and why?
The best day of the week. Huh. I mean, the obvious answer is
Saturday.
Saturday, because if you work on Monday to Friday, it's the first day of the weekend, and you don't have the second. You still have Sunday to look forward to. Friday, there's nothing better than finishing work on Friday, though. Is the answer Friday?
I don't think so.
I mean, if you like your job, Friday's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because you get to work and you get to do your work stuff, but you also have the most weekend. You got Friday night is usually great because you've got 2 full days to recover from whatever you're doing on Friday. I think it's kind of a question what's the best week? What's the worst day? I think the worst day is a better question than the best day. Because that one, I think there's more debate. Tuesday.
I really do. Like Monday, and I mean, again, it's totally because of our job and the type of job that we have. Like Monday and Friday, I'm never worried about. You got the weekend, either the weekend that you're looking ahead, or we're going to recap the weekend that just happened. Never an issue. Tuesday just drags, especially when there's no game on a Monday.
I think Thursday, while you're getting closer to the weekend, I'm usually so gassed, and you still have another day to go. Maybe some people can see the finish line, so they feel like Thursday is better than a Wednesday. But
see, my finish line,
I'm definitely feeling it by Thursday. So to me, that's usually one of my least favorite days.
Just again, it's because of our schedule and how it's impacted our lives. But for me, if I can get through Wednesday, I'm like, we're good, because Wednesday's the tough show when we have only one guest, not as much to talk about as we have on a Monday or a Friday. Get through Wednesday. We have a 3-hour show plus a roundtable on a Thursday.
Well, you don't usually do the roundtable.
Exactly.
You get to finish your show and then just eat some wings and be done.
Exactly.
This week, I believe,
I am
you
on it this
are
week.
joining us.
Yeah.
You're filling in for
I've done
Woods
3 this year
on the roundtable.
Yeah.
Did you fill in when I was gone? Because
I did.
I think I don't remember having you on.
Yeah, Elo was hosting.
So we will have Paulie joining us on our
That was the
Epic
last
Wings,
one.
Epic Padres roundtable this Thursday. And it will be our last roundtable, of course, before the trade deadline on Monday, which will give us plenty to discuss. We will only have 2 more games against the Colorado Rockies to really, if they win them both, if they split them, it's what difference does it really make?
Do we play them anymore this year after this?
That's a good question.
I don't remember.
I think there's probably one more trip to Coors Field, if I'm not mistaken. I think they've only been to Coors Field once this year.
I assume we'll play them.
So my guess is the Padres will go back to Coors Field later in the year, and my answer is correct. September 14th through the 17th, 4-game series at Coors Field. So you do have 4 more against the Rockies. You got 3 at home against the Miami Marlins, who by that point will have lost like 42 in a row when they come to San Diego later in the year. So you got to feel good about that. And then you got 3 more at San Francisco after this week as well. So 7 more against the Giants, 6 more against the Rockies. That's 13 of your remaining games against 2 teams that are near the bottom of the barrel right now in Major League Baseball. Doesn't mean anything. Going to Coors Field, you can still lose those games pretty easily. But, hey, it's depends on what day of the week they are, too, how the Padres are feeling. What day of the week do they like? They probably like Monday right now. It's a rare day off.
Right.
If you're a Major League Baseball player, you get to enjoy a Monday off and
at
go
home,
back to work
too.
on Tuesday.
At home.
I mean, it's your long weekend because you were done with the game Sunday afternoon. Got all the rest of Sunday to travel, get home, all of Monday, and you don't have to show up until a night game on Tuesday.
Not too bad.
Ben Woods brought to you by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. That'll do it for us on a Monday. Hopefully Woodsy will join us from Hawaii tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Braden and Frank next. For Paulie Reindl, I'm Ben Higgins. Thanks for joining us right here on 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.